Alright, so let's go ahead and turn that off. Okay, so we have a few more videos we're going to take a look at today. And yeah. You know what kind of sucks? I did not know Diablo 3, because I saw they had a new season like that actually had quite a bit. So I was like, okay, well, check it out. Um, I forgot I bought it on my PlayStation, I think PS4, and so I didn't have it on my computer. So it's on sale right now. I think it's still on sale. So I buy it, and it's it's only keyboard and mouse. You can't use a controller with it, which is what I was using when I had it on the console. That really sucks. I'm gonna have to do some research on that because I don't really like keyboard and mouse anymore. I don't know if it's a me getting older thing or exactly what, but yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and just start off with the videos. First one today, Silvervale harassed to tears for playing Hogwarts. So it's more Hogwarts drama, which is really sucks for the people running into this, but yeah. Go ahead and take a look.
Silvervale.
Oh, 1 second. Oh, let's. So I'm gonna do a quick refresh of everything, so that way it actually gets that change I just made. Okay, once again. No, not once again. Let's just watch it, right?
Silvervale harassed to tears for playing Hogwarts Legacy. There's a girl. You guys may or may not know her. Her name is Silvervale. She's a VTuber. There
Yep.
she is. You guys can see her. She decided she made the mistake of playing Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Big mistake. Okay? And anyway, people went into her chat and they were harassing her just like they harass everybody else. It's not really a big deal. But people found out that the word trans was blacklisted in her chat. And you couldn't type the word trans in Silvervale's chat.
Huh.
So Twitter.
Maybe that makes sense, though, if you're getting a bunch of shit from people who are saying you're transphobic or something like that, banning the word trans. But yeah, and that's. I could see how that would have led to some crazy harassment.
With their infinite understanding of all systems, all situations, all events, in all of time, immediately assumed that this is because Silvervale decided to go mask off and say, fuck this, I hate them. And I'm not even going to allow them to say what they are in my stream. Big surprise, guys. That's actually not what happened.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's obvious on why it was even implemented to begin with. You know, that's all the harassment and stuff that started to come about. Didn't really give her an no. It gave her an option, but I think maybe her mods decided it was just the easiest thing to do.
And the reality is that Twitch's auto mod that she had turned on auto modded the word trans. So
I did not know that. That's how that works.
That took the word away. But according to Twitter, nobody knew this. Because, again, this would require people on Twitter to have a functional understanding of anything. So let's go back over here. I feel like this gets worse and worse for her as time goes on. Happy Valentine's. Your chat, I don't feel appreciated in your community. And I don't say this to be bitter. Look at this. Shut up, TERF. Nobody cares. And it's a fucking Rule 34 account. Wait, what happened? Decided the fact Silver has been 1,000% silent on this, as well as Vishojo, and Silver's community as a whole. I'll be breaking mutuals with people still following her. I don't expect everyone to know she did this if
I mean, I've heard of Silvervale. I've never heard of this person, so it's not really. I don't think that's big of a deal. Like, I think as someone who isn't that big, like maybe Comment is huge. I don't know. I've never heard of them, which I do watch some VTubers, so I would think I would have heard of her or him. I'm not sure. Yeah, but like as a content creator, like you don't really want to be burning bridges without knowing anything.
Vibratic Mutuals
Really a
with you.
bad look.
Let me know. Wait, what happened? Silvervale streamed the Hogwarts Legacy game coded in turf and right-wing shit. By the way, proper noun, very serious. Then when streaming banned trans from being mentioned in her chat. She has now deleted her tweet mentioning the game and has said nothing about it since. So because
she probably didn't even know what was going on. So she's like, what do you mean it was banned? And so she's probably having to figure out what happened.
Silvervale did not address this grievance quickly enough. This person has decided to go feral. They're going fucking scorched earth. All right?
Yeah. Which is crazy.
TERF? Trans exclusionary radical feminist. That's what it stands for. I don't really know the nuances of it because it's some opinion of J.K. Rowling. And
yeah.
I don't care what opinion J.K. Rowling has because she's a fucking writer. I'm not going to ask, like, what do you think? I go to my mechanic and I ask him, like, man, you know, I've been having this pain in my shoulder. Like, you know, do you think I should, like, take some medicine for it or, like, what? Like, I don't know what to do. You know, and, like, I don't go to my doctor and I'm like, man.
You say that, but people do that, actually. Like, almost every job I've had where I've had to speak to people, like, they'll ask me questions that I'm not, like, licensed or equipped to actually answer.
Yeah, I do have a problem. I tell you what, I got a Ford F-150 pickup. Shit won't start. What do you got for me, Doc? So yeah, I don't even know what J.K. Rowling's opinions are because she's a fucking writer. She doesn't know anything about science. She doesn't know anything about gender. She doesn't know anything about this at all. So why the fuck would I even read what she had to say?
I mean, to be fair, Asmund doesn't read anyways, from what I understand. So it's not that. Yes, it's true. J.K. Rowling doesn't know what she's talking about, but Asmund doesn't care enough to do any research himself, which I'm not like dissing him in any way, but it's just facts. Like, even if J.K. Rowling turned out she did do her research, I don't think anyone would care, honestly, because even the people who are experts in the field are labeled as like transphobic.
I would not even pay attention. I would not even read the first line. Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, a lot of people. The truth is, she did not.
Just like how a lot of people care about Asmund's opinions, even though he doesn't have a doctorate in anything. He's not a professional in any field. Has no actual work experience outside of like was IRS, being a streamer, and I think some retail. So it's like, but yet he does have a lot of opinions about a lot of things, that's fine. I don't think anyone's knocking him for that. But a lot of people do take his opinion seriously because they're fans of his or whatever the reason may be.
Nothing wrong. I don't know if she did or not
I
because
feel like my voice is almost going out.
Anyway,
sorry.
So people are just going absolutely ape shit. Literally ape shit.
Yeah, because I just woke up. I'm sorry if I'm like kind of out of it.
This is escalating as word gets spread around. Might have a stream about this at some point if it gets any worse. So then Silvervale clarifies this. So let's read what she actually said, what actually happened.
Thank you for asking here. Instead of dogpiling random tweets, it's not the word trans itself is held by Automod for review. It's Twitch default Automod behavior. I haven't been other than ones used for harassment. I don't know where people are getting these ideas, but it's really hurtful. Yeah, that's fair.
Thank you for asking here instead of dogpiling random tweets. It's not. The word trans by itself is held by Automod for review. It's Twitch default Automod behavior. I haven't banned any words in chat other than the ones used only for harassment. I don't know where people are getting these ideas about me, but it is really hurtful. I'll address it formally whenever I feel okay enough about it to talk to anyone. So basically, something happened that wasn't her fault, then everybody dogpiles on her and starts harassing her, telling her that she's wrong and she's like this terrible fucking person, just like this piece of shit right here. And then they're going scorched earth. No, not this piece of shit. There's another one. Sorry, which piece of shit was it? Oh, geez, I'm losing track.
It was the comic one, or Comet, I think.
Who cares? You guys know what I'm saying, right? There's one of them. I forgot where it was. This guy, I think, actually might be okay. Maybe it's not. I don't remember. Who cares? The point is that a lot of people are just completely dogpiling her. They're telling her she's a terrible person, like, oh, kill yourself, like, you know, all the usual stuff that people that are well-adjusted to society type on the internet. And so anyway, because she did not adequately address this problem fast enough, there are people that are disconnecting from anybody who even talks to her because she didn't address this problem fast enough. This is the way feral animals behave on Twitter. This is a feral fucking animal.
Yeah, that's not someone you should be associating to begin with. Like, if they're willing to just cut ties without any rhyme or, like, without wanting to get more information, they're the type of person that would abandon you at, you know, the first opportunity. So building up any kind of business ties with this kind of person is pointless. Not pointless, but is trying to build a sandcastle, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to take one wave and then everything's gone. So there's no point in trying to build a relationship with them.
That's right.
And it feels like I'm attacking them, but it's like it's personally, I would never want to associate in a business sense with someone like this, or even like in a personal sense as well. Because I feel like anyone who is just going to take the words of someone random and over like trying to listen to what could be a friend or business partner or whatever, I would rethink that.
Right. So Silvervale addressed this, and we will watch the clip. Here we go.
And doxing and people doxing my friends.
Yep.
And like so much horrible,
God damn, I haven't seen this.
Things.
Man, her VTuber model does not handle this kind of emotion well. I thought she was happy in a sense at first, like laughing almost, but no, that's definitely not what's happening.
All of them streaming a fucking video game.
Yep. Absolute psychos.
Insane. Like, hate breeds hate, and it doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, I wonder if they think
and
this is helping.
I got to the point where I was sick of seeing hatred all over and guilt tripping on random art tweets. It's literally like they gang up on so many random tweets about Valentine's Day or art or automated posts. Like they wanna post so much negativity everywhere, and I just got sick of it. So I block people.
That's exactly
as you
what you should do.
Yeah, exactly. You should definitely do that.
That's exactly what you need to do. You immediately fucking block them. You put them in the garbage. I assume people try to see you, but you ignore it and they go away. Bro, I don't ignore them. I use them I make money off of them. Bro, they're like slaves. Like, they're working for me for free. I mean, really, like, fuck that.
That's true.
Why would I go and get upset about what they say?
I mean, that's also like other content creators do the same, or other streamers, like the unbanned videos. Like, those are always like really popular.
Bro, this dude goes and gets it. I'm gonna keep it 100%. If one of these dudes got hit by a car the next day and they died, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't care. So why the fuck am I going to give a shit what they're saying on the internet?
And that may sound harsh, but that's the case for most people, for most other people. It just is. Like, when you see a car crash, like, and you're driving about, like, it's the person who's going to be like, oh, I hope they're okay, and actually mean it. You know what I mean? Most of the time, you just want to see, oh, what happened? Because it's true. Like, people dying all over the place, everywhere, like at all times. But most people don't care because they don't know that person.
Why the fuck would I care? What am I gonna do? Am I gonna, like, I don't even care that they exist. Why would I care what they say? Yeah, that's the stuff, not talking shit. No, of course, right? But like, I mean, obviously, like, that's over the line. Nobody's saying that's okay, right? No, nobody is. So, need some mods on Twitter just to wipe those people away. Yeah, I mean, they get those people banned off social media for harassment and bullying while harassing and bullying people? Bro, the biggest people that are against harassment and bullying are usually the biggest bullies and the biggest harassers. Because they feel like they have the go-ahead to decide what is and isn't okay. Because the one thing that feels good enough for people, it's as good as jerking off, is being able to absolutely shit on somebody with no repercussions because you feel like you're in the right. That is the fucking pinnacle of, you know, human indulgence, is finding a person that you can crucify and then pat yourself on the back for it.
Yeah, and that's how I think mob behavior was, is such an easy thing to fall into.
That's what it is. The whole Hogwarts thing is gonna backfire on Swears? Yeah, I mean, of course it is, right? Of course. Yeah, absolutely. The guy wrote the guy intentionally doesn't care if random people think? No, you can't care. The thing is, like, I mean, obviously, like, you know, this position that she's in is awful. It's terrible that this happened to her, etc. But there's just there's nothing you can do about it, really, because you're gonna have people on the internet and they're just gonna fucking go ape dick because that's what they do. That's all they do. That's their whole life, is they just get mad on the internet. The way that you handle this,
that's true,
is my
though.
best advice, is you just block them. You don't read what they say. You don't listen to them. You don't try to convince them that they're right or wrong. You don't do anything, because if you do anything to indulge these people, what they're gonna do is that makes them real.
Yep. It also gives them a sense of importance because you actually responded to them.
Like, that makes them, I think that makes them matter. Because, like, you have to look at it from a perspective, like, you are so far above them, they're not even worth responding to.
Yeah.
And she is. There's no reason that she has to respond to some fucking loser that gets 200 likes. Not that this guy's a loser. He could not be a loser. But, like, theoretically, let's see here. Like, any of these people. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, okay, this one right here, 5 likes. Who cares? 23 hours, 20 minutes? Bro, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a fuck?
Exactly, and it's like, as well as Shoujo, as if V Shoujo should fucking get involved in something as stupid as this. Like, dude, it's ridiculous. Like, it's a nothing. Like, so stupid. And even if she wanted to ban the word trans, that's her stream, man. She can do that if she really wanted to. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with someone doing that, because at this time it would make sense, because it's like, you don't want to be harassed, right? So it's just like, say you got a bunch of people in your comments like, oh, I hate trans people, blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, just ban the word trans for a while. You know what I mean? But it's her stream. She can kind of do that, she can do that if she wants. I don't think people, I guess you can be upset, just leave the stream. You don't have to watch her. Hell, you don't have to type in her chat or read her chat. You can still watch the streamer without reading their chat. Yeah, and as I said, I don't know who this comic person is, but it's like, I'll be breaking mutuals. Like, what does that even mean? Like, you're gonna unfriend people who are friends with Silvervale, I'm assuming? So it's like, are you that stupid? Like, it'd be different if the roles were reversed. Like, you were a much bigger streamer than Silvervale, but I don't know, it's like, are you friends with them because they're actual friends, or are you friends with them because they're you know, in the same sphere of business. Because if it's the business sense, then you're an idiot, like just straight up. If it was your own friends, like personal friends, then fine, that's your choice. Not both are your choices technically. What I'm saying is like if you morally can't agree with someone, then of course you shouldn't be their friend. But for a business sense, if this was for business, you know what I mean, VTuber, I'm assuming they're trying to stream or do content or something. Um, Burning bridges is like one of the last things you want to do, unless someone's really messed up.
Yeah, it's awful, man.
Like if someone docks you,
Might
you
not be a loser,
cut
but
all
he's not a
content.
winner
But
either.
other than that,
Anybody typing this shit on Twitter ain't a winner. All right, let's be honest. Her name's Silvervale. She's a VTuber.
yeah.
So yeah.
Personally, I don't watch her stuff, but I've seen a few clips with her, so I think she's pretty good. But it's not my cup. Like maybe it's been a while since I've seen anything from her, so it could just be that I just don't remember that well. It's just I don't have her like saved on anything, so. Oh, what's happening?
And these people are just trash. Literal fucking garbage. And the faster that people realize that, and the faster that they stop allowing this to control them.
Yeah, it's weird, man. You think with the internet being around so long, people would already know how to handle toxic people. It's like, dude, you just block them. You mute them, you block them, whatever form of irrelevancy you want to put them in. Doesn't really matter. But it's like, this was always a thing with the internet. Like, if you played video games, like, freaking back in the day with Xbox, when they first had Xbox Live, and you're playing, like, Halo online, like, dude, it's always been like, some people just really need to be blocked. You know what I mean? There's no reason to even try with them.
Is the better off that we're going to be.
Yeah.
We'll read a couple more. I don't know if there's any more clips about this. I haven't seen this shit at all. So, like, let me go ahead and mute this, and we'll watch it real quick. Civilly disagreeing is okay. Freaking out is not okay. Is not. No, the thing is, like,
you can disagree. You can't just like actually attack people and like condemn them and like say that they're transphobic or, you know, like stuff like that. It's like if you're just saying like, oh, hey Silvervale, like I saw trans was blocked in your chat. What's going on? No one's gonna have a problem with that. Not even Silvervale, because she could just respond like, hey, it was Twitch's auto mod. You're like, oh, that makes sense. You know what I mean? That's how that should play out if you actually gave a shit about the person.
You don't need to be responsible for somebody else's mental disorder. You don't need to go out of your way because somebody can't control their emotions on Twitter. You don't have to be a punching bag for that. Bro, the moment that somebody puts their mental disorder on me is the moment I put them out on the street. I say, get the fuck out of my life. There is no reason for you to do that. Now, if it's family or it's complex, of course, things get complicated. But I'm talking about Twitter.
Even family, like, there's been plenty of times where there's been rare occasions where I've blocked family for a time. I usually message them like, hey, not talking to you for a while. And I block them. It's super rare because they have to really push me to get to that point. But I think it doesn't matter whether family or friends or whatever. Like sometimes either you or they have to just walk away for a bit and re-center themselves. Because there are cases where if you don't, it's just going to keep building and building and building. You know what I mean? So it's still a case of ignoring them, just in a different sense. And it's not forever usually.
I'm not talking about your brother.
Okay. I love you guys. I'll see you later.
Oh, that's it? That's the whole thing? God damn. Yeah, I'm sure this is going to help everybody. Yeah,
Jesus,
that really this is really making everything better for society.
Yeah. It really to me it really does the opposite, because it's like these kind of people not only was I the type to just ignore them prior, but now I legit like hate them. Like anything they try to push now is gonna have an opposite like reaction, at least to me. I don't know about other people. I would assume maybe similar, because it's like, okay, these are just crazy people. I just ignore them. But them harassing these people and legit making them cry, it's like, dude, what kind of fucking piece of shit are you?
It is just crazy, man. Is that Final Fantasy music? Well, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. Saw that, totally forgot the argument. Well, I mean, it is a weird juxtaposition, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a person that's doing this, right? It's a person behind the, but behind a VTuber, right? It's not like it's not a person. I made a video about how to deal with internet harassment.
We're gonna take a look at that
tomorrow, probably, because I've just been seeing so many people in this position. Gaming Circle Jerk actively encourages this kind of behavior and harassment. Honestly, very interesting that Reddit admins have not taken action yet. I don't know if they do or not. Let's see. Did they do it or not? What is this here? I mean, I don't see this anywhere. Cheers to the mods, destroying the woke mob. I mean, I don't even know what this is. Is this like a... Like, I don't understand, like, what is this? Isn't this sub-satire? Bro, it's not satire. The thing is, like, subs like this, like, if this is anything like the WoW Circle Jerk thing, it's just a bunch of people that are disagreeable and unlikable that get together and talk about how dumb everybody else is. Like, I don't know about this subreddit. I've never been on here because I don't give a fuck. But if it's anything like the WoW subreddit, that's the way it worked over there. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah. I mean, like, who gives a fuck? Let's see here. And yeah, in general, I think it's totally okay to try to start a conversation with somebody. But the moment you start calling them names or you start going aggro on them, like, bro, nobody's got to deal with that. Like, why would somebody, like, think about it like this. Why does somebody else have to be your punching bag? Why does somebody else have to, why do you have the authority?
It's also a case where if you're coming at it from that angle, very few people are going to take it seriously. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to see you as a rational person, so why would they assume your argument is rational?
To be verbally abusive to them. You don't.
Yeah.
So if somebody does that, you throw them in the garbage.
Yeah. I'm probably going to skip a little bit because I feel like the rest of this is fluff in a sense. Like, I don't know where else he's going to go with this. We'll watch a little bit more just in case, but I feel like we're probably going to move on and just do the next video. So, and actually we'll probably just do the harassment video because I think that just goes right into it.
It doesn't matter who they are. They're not worth it.
True.
Yeah, that's it. And this, the other thing is, like, the only place where this kind of mindset is allowed, and this is always really funny, is the only place where this mindset is allowed is a place where not thinking this way gets you instantly banned. That's the only way these ideas and these people can exist, is if they create their own little echo chamber that nobody else is allowed to put their ideas into. Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
It's actually like an echo chamber, because in the free marketplace of ideas, nobody is going to take this seriously and everybody's going to think they're fucking ridiculous. So
yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
And they've created their own little box, their little hug box, where they get to pat each other on the back and act like vicious little pussies, and occasionally bully somebody into giving them an apology and making themselves feel bigger.
Yep. That's exactly it. And I've said it on multiple of these videos already, is that a lot of these people don't actually care about the people involved, like actual trans like issues and their struggles or anything like that. They just want to feel like heroes because, you know, hey, J.K. Rowling is like, you know, the thing to do, and anyone who is associated with it. They don't want to do any research on anything. They just want to type bad things about someone and make themselves feel good. So, all right, so that's that video. We're just going to move right into the how I deal with harassment on the internet, just because I feel like they're tying into each other.
Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you all about internet harassment and how I deal with it and the best practices to deal with it that I've learned so far. And I'm going to be talking about this primarily on a functional level, like how to deal with it in your stream, on your YouTube channel, etc. And then also how to deal with it in terms of a mental toll, emotional toll that it can take on you, and the best way to go about it in the healthiest way possible.
And at least for me, I don't really care too much about this stuff. Obviously, I'm much smaller um, streamer, reactor, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, like I've I've done most of my jobs involve direct communication with someone like a customer, um, patron, whatever you want to call them, and I don't know, like you just develop a thicker skin because it's like people yelling at you for things you can't control. You know what I mean? Or they make fun of you or try to. It's like it's never really bothered me. Like I've worked in a casino. I think I've mentioned it before. And if people are losing, they're going to be pretty upset and they're going to try to take it out on you. So like if you let it, you're not going to last that long. So I'm going to put some background music. Second. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
So it goes as no surprise, and it's no secret that a lot of people have been harassed online recently, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video a year after it came out, this is probably still going to be true because that's just the way the internet works. And
Yeah.
I think that there's a very unfortunate paradox of creating content online, which is if you create content online, you should expect to be harassed. You should expect to have people bring up the worst things about you. Like if you're fat, they're going to call you fat. If you're ugly, they're going to call you ugly. If you're balding, they're going to call you balding. So it doesn't matter what it is, people are going to pick out the most unflattering thing about you and then try to use that to hurt you.
And not even just like your appearance, it could be anything. Like sometimes I'll get comments on that, you know, I'm just the picture, you know what I mean? So it's not much they could say about my appearance. So instead they're like, oh, instead of reacting, why don't you create content? Which is actually something I would like to do. I just don't think I have that enough time to do both. And I don't think I have the right skill set for real content creation, and I feel like it would bum me out if the things I was releasing just weren't that good. So I've been debating if I would even want to dabble in it because it really does seem like a lot of work, and I just don't have that much time to invest into this because this is more as a hobby than an actual job. Like it'd be different if it was my job. Then of course, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem because anytime I put into it is learning the job better. You know what I mean? But as is, like it's just unfortunately not possible. You know what I mean? It doesn't pull in the money for me to make it my job. And it's not about money for me, but I do have bills. I can't just throw everything to the side and do this. So
And that's just the way that things are on the internet. This is something you can expect to happen.
Yeah.
On the internet. And the paradox part of this is that it never should happen. A person should never have to deal with this.
Yeah, it's like the same thing as a celebrity. Like you shouldn't have to deal with paparazzi, but going into it, you should know you probably will have to deal with paparazzi.
A person should never have to be told this kind of stuff. They should never have to be harassed. But it's a catch-22. You should not make content online if you can't deal with harassment, but harassment should not happen online either. So that's the world that we live in. So I'd like to tell people kind of how I navigate that space. I've had a lot of times where people have been angry at me. Sometimes I've dealt with it in a good way, sometimes I haven't. And I've learned from that in both ways. I think that sometimes failing teaches you more than succeeding does. So anyway, I think the first place that I want to start off at is how to deal with how to categorize people's feedback. And I made a tweet about this recently, is that there are a lot of people who like posting their hot takes on the internet. They like, saying the thing that's controversial. They like being a little bit edgy. And then the moment that anybody says, hey, that's really edgy, I don't like that, shut the fuck up, you're wrong, that's stupid, then they're like, oh my god, I'm getting harassed. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. But being harassed on the internet is not whenever people disagree with you, okay?
Yeah, even if they disagree in a less than calm manner, like, it's still just a disagreement or them not liking you.
Disagreed with and disagreement and people not thinking the same thing you do, that's not them harassing you, okay?
Yeah.
But there is a lot of cases of actual harassment. So I'd like to show people a little bit how kind of like I differentiate the two. So number one is that if a person puts in their comment a personal insult on your physical appearance, that comment goes in the garbage instantaneously. I stop reading it. I stop
That's where it
caring.
belongs.
I stop even taking it seriously in any capacity. So if they're calling you fat, if they're calling you ugly, if they're making fun of your physical appearance in any way whatsoever, you should probably just take that criticism and throw it in the garbage, because the odds are this person just fundamentally does not like you, and this is just what's going to happen. Like, you put yourself out there, and there's going to be a lot of people that just simply don't like you. And what's even more odd about this is that there will be people that don't like you because a lot of other people do like you. It's the same as, like, there's contrarians, right? They're the people that hate all the popular shows. They don't listen to the songs on the radio.
Exactly. Like, even if you manage to do something that where normally everyone should like, you're going to get the people who don't like you because everyone else likes it.
These kinds of guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's just the way that they are with content creators as well. You just have to be ready to acknowledge that if you want to make yourself happy, you have to know and acknowledge that there will be other people that don't want that to happen. And it's not fair, it's not good, and it is true. And I think there's a lot of elements to this that is pretty much along those lines, is that there are things that should not happen, but they do, and this is how to deal with them whenever they do happen. So anyway, any criticism, any feedback that people give you that is tied to a personal insult, that is tied to your personal appearance, your physical appearance, throw that in the garbage. The next thing to do is to also look at comments of people that are like actually trying to engage with you, because I don't think that it's always a bad idea to engage with and try to talk to people that might have a different point of view. But one thing that I've definitely learned is that there have been a number of these times, and I'll give you guys an example of this, right? So how many of you all have seen, like, I don't want to go too far off on a tangent, so I'll try to keep this short. How many of you guys all seen an article, and the article puts out misinformation? And then the article stays up, and then the misinformation is corrected later on, but the misinformation has like 1,000 likes, and the article had 100,000.
Yeah, this is something he brings up a lot in his other videos.
So the misinformation just doesn't really, the claim that the actual correction has like almost no traction, but everybody still believes the base article. And this is an unfortunate reality of the internet, because the base article is probably more interesting, so people care more about that than whether it was fake or not. That doesn't really matter. And I think that also goes into another bigger element that I'm going to talk about soon, is treating yourself like an entertainment station and treating yourself not like a person, which is very important, I think, and I'll talk about that more. But anyway, so I made a video, and a person claimed that they had their video DMCA'd by Amazon because it was showing a hack or some sort of exploit in New World. And I said
I remember
Amazon
this
was pieces of shit for doing.
Yeah. I think Asman actually straight up removed that video, at least on his end, once he found out that it wasn't the case, and Amazon like fixed everything, and then people gave him a ton of shit, calling him like a shill for Amazon, because they acted like, Amazon paid him off and got him to remove the video, when it's like he only removed it because the information was incorrect.
Doing this, and I went off on a tirade about this, and I said if this was true. Well, it turns out that it was not true. And I took the video down. I took it down because I was like, this video spreads misinformation that makes Amazon look bad in a way that was not true. And they still made a mistake by DMCAing the video, but it was not for this reason, so I issued a correction, and I deleted the original video. Well, people, of course, guess what? People thought Jeff Bezos paid me to do that. So I went on and I made an honest, good faith effort to explain to people why I made the decision that I did, and they said, "Shut up! You're just being paid by Jeff Bezos again. Was he paying you to make this video too?" And the reality is that I'd say about half of those people are trolling, and the other half are not. And the reason why I'm getting to this is that people never like being proven wrong. And people will more than likely say that they are trolling or, hold on to a bad opinion they have rather than actually change their opinion whenever being presented with new evidence. Because they don't have to change their opinion. They're under no obligation to be beholden to facts or, like science or evidence or anything like that. They don't give a fuck about that. They just want to see you take an L. And in a lot of cases, it's not even about you. It's about they don't want to take an L themselves. So even whenever confronted with unverifiably or like undisputably verifiable evidence that this is not the case or another good argument, they will still not believe it because they don't want to. And I think this is another element here is that people are going to believe what they want to believe. And it doesn't matter how good your argument is. It doesn't matter how hard you try. It doesn't matter how many times you rewrite the same tweet in your head. Listen, people are just going to think that, and it doesn't matter. I've always used a phrase, you build 100 bridges, and you suck one dick. You're not a bridge builder, you're a dick sucker. And it doesn't matter what the proportion is. It matters how interesting it is to say what the different things are. What's more interesting, a dick sucker or a bridge builder? Well, I think a lot of people would say a dick sucker. So that's just the way the world works. And the reality is that oftentimes, like I always looked at myself, because again, like whenever you take criticism, I think it's important to kind of create an effigy of yourself that is who you are online. And it's kind of like a target dummy, a scarecrow, whatever you want to use. There's a million metaphors for this. But the point is that people attack the person who you are online, not necessarily you, because as anybody who makes content online
or even
knows,
just the idea behind what's going on
online is not exactly who you are in real life. I think that there's a very large spectrum for this, whether it's somebody who's streaming 24/7 or somebody like Dr. Disrespect who completely plays a character. But in general, I think that this is true. Is that you generally act different on camera than you do off camera, in the same way that you probably act different around your friends than you do around your grandma. So that's very normal, it's very healthy, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that also it allows you
I think that's fair to say, yeah.
And kind of have a little bit of dissonance between the things that people are saying to you and the things that personally bother you. And I felt that that helps me a lot. And also, I even took this a step further, and I've tried to do this in the last, like, maybe year or two, is that I've looked at everything that happens to me. I stopped viewing myself as a person. I've stopped viewing myself as an individual and, like, what I want, what I need, how I feel. I threw all those things in the garbage because nobody else cares about that. People care about the content. They care about being entertained. And if you're not doing that, nobody cares about you and they don't like you. So
I think that's the case across the board. Like, you may find very rare individuals that actually care about the person behind the curtain, but most people are just there for the content. You know what I mean? It's the same with, like, any other medium, like books, music, movies. Like, if the movie's shit, you don't care about the actor who may have been going through some shit in his life. You're just like, no, why is he a terrible actor? Ruining the movie. You know what I mean?
So the way that I try to look at things is that I only look at perspectives, and I only look at doing something from the perspective of how is the viewer going to feel about this. And also, if it's something that's in my benefit, like, I don't know, doing a sponsorship or something like that, then I only look at it from that perspective. And I don't... Oh, my monitor turned off. I'm using that as a light, by the way. There we go. That's a little bit better. And I try to look at it in that way. And I know this might sound very odd and maybe even a little bit sociopathic, that I don't even view myself as a person whenever I'm online. But the truth is that I'm not. I'm just pixels. I'm not a real person. You don't see me. You're looking at a monitor. And you're looking at a phone. And yes, of course, this is a I'm 14 and this is deep statement. But I think that there is a certain level of truth to it. And in that truth, I think that you can actually find solace in the fact that what you are is not this entire person. It's just this version of yourself that people see. And
Yeah.
whenever you can contextualize and compartmentalize where you are in that little box.
I do think for a lot of people this is going to be extremely difficult because a lot of people have their own personality in the content that they're creating. Like, I think that would be obvious to most because it's your creation in a sense. You know what I mean? Just like you would feel pride for it, people's criticism towards it or thoughts on it are going to hit you as a personal level.
It makes it much easier to be who people want you to be, and also to be the person you want to be in another way. So whenever I've taken that approach and people have gotten really mad at me for something like that, I don't really care, because getting mad at me, hate threads, positive threads, I don't know what those are like, but I've heard they're good. It's all the
Yeah,
same.
that's
It's
funny.
all content. So view anything good or bad that happens to you as content. And I think that way it gives you, not only does it give you...
This is almost like I can't remember exactly what I'm thinking of, but I think I've heard about it before with like clowns. You know what I mean? Like with the makeup on and like the stuff. Like that's bozo. But once the makeup's off, you're you. And you gotta have those two things separate. You know what I mean? Like, you being a fool and getting laughed at, that's only bozo. That's not you. I can't remember where like this came from. This must have been a while ago, but like I think that's very similar to what Asmon's trying to get across here.
a certain level of disconnect from it, but it also gives you a control over it, because now you're not thinking about, oh, this is happening to me. Now you're thinking about, imagine drawing cards, and if you draw a card that's not the card you want to draw, you still have to find a way to plan it or to play it anyway. And I think that gives you more autonomy and more control over the outcome in your life. And overall, I think that's a
that's
much
true, though.
healthier outlook than to just blame the internet for being mean, or to blame a group of people for being assholes or something like that, because all you're really doing is blaming something other than yourself. And you can do that, by the way. You can say that it's totally somebody else's fault, and you know what the best part is? You're probably right. And you know what the worst part is? Nobody fucking cares, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how often you're going to go and say that, oh yeah, this is all these other people's fault, and, oh, this isn't my fault, like, oh, this happened to me, it's not fair. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. And to the extent that you start complaining, people will start resenting you. Because as a content creator, and this is, again, I'll tell you guys this, right? My first, major, viral moment on the internet was a hate thread, okay? It was whenever I made my video, the Asmongold's Lair 2010, and somebody posted it on Reddit, and everybody was like, wow, I guess this is what people do before they kill themselves, or this is what,
Damn, okay.
I bet this guy's never had a girlfriend, or I wonder how bad this guy smells, or I wonder what this guy looks like, or something like that, right? And it's all
I actually haven't seen this video,
insults.
so I'm not sure.
The truth is that none of this bothered me, because, bro, who the fuck records a video of a bunch of moldy soda cans and then they get upset whenever somebody says it's gross? Of course people are going to say that. What, are you going to cry about that? Then don't post the fucking video. It's that simple. And again, a lot of content creators, a lot of people that watch content creators want to be content creators. What is the number one job that people in the UK
Oh, that's
and
true.
America
Yeah.
want to have? Kids. Being a YouTuber. What is it in China, by the way? Astronaut. I don't know how that's going to turn out. I'll let you know in 30 years, but
Probably not good.
Very good. Anyway,
Yeah.
so you have these people, and they want to be content creators, and they see a content creator who is in a lifestyle that they themselves think that this is a perfect lifestyle. They have idealized this lifestyle to be like, this is their dream. Their dream is to be a YouTuber or a streamer. And then they have somebody who's a YouTuber or a streamer complaining about it, and this is like a personal insult to them. They're angry at you because they're thinking you should be thankful for what you have.
Yeah, it's the whole idea, like, you're in paradise, basically complaining in paradise.
If I was in your position, I would be so happy and all my problems would be solved. And
Yep.
maybe that's true, maybe that's not true. It doesn't really matter whether it's true or not. But one thing that I've learned is that complaining about being a content creator to people that want to be content creators, it's a pretty tough audience. So don't even do it. Don't even try.
Yeah.
And again, like, you want to get it out there. You want to put your...
That's also like why with celebrities, with paparazzi, like most people just don't give a shit that celebrities go through that. Because they're rich and famous, you know what I mean? So there's not much empathy to go around.
Yourself out there, bro, you're not yourself. You're a version of yourself. Stop trying to make other people accept you. Stop trying to, make the internet give you their seal of approval. Stop trying to make people tell you that you're okay, that what you're doing is okay, because the only person's approval that you need is your own. You don't need anybody else to give you the approval to be yourself. Unless, of course, you're breaking the law, right? If yourself is a murderer, then, maybe don't be yourself. But other than that, say what you want to say, be who you want to be. Because at the end of the day, you shouldn't live your life trying to apologize for who you are, for better or for worse. And
Yep.
I think that living that type of a lifestyle that's more true to yourself gives you much more longevity. Because eventually, if you try to play a character, people are going to find out. People are going to figure it out, and they're going to see what's behind the mask.
Maybe. There's Dr. Disrespect. I don't think many people have. I could be wrong. But if you want to play a character, that's fine. It should just be a character, though, that you are comfortable playing if you are going to be one. Where it's like, it's just a part of yourself, in a sense.
They're going to see the...
Because, obviously, even myself, when it comes to work, I sound way different than if I'm just, talking to a friend or someone like that. I thought about using that kind of persona when I'm streaming, but I just felt kind of fake about it. Not fake exactly, because it is me. That's how I am when I'm working. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel natural. That's a weird thing to say. For me, in my own situation, I think it's because if I did that, I would see this more as a job, and I don't know how that would affect it. Maybe I wouldn't want to stream anymore, so that's why I kind of steered clear from it myself. But I do think that if you're going to play a character, and you don't, what's the word I'm looking for, want people to see behind that character, you have to be very comfortable in that character. It has to be almost like a second version of you that's actually, you. You're not actually pretending to be that way.
The man behind the machine, and the immersion's going to be broken, and people won't like you anymore. So it's much better to just be yourself, at least to an extent, or at least be a version of yourself that you're comfortable with online. Not that you're
exactly what I was saying.
Trying to, be a different person. Even though, of course, it is contextualized around only being that version of yourself online. Again, another catch-22. Doing these kinds of things is complex psychologically, but a lot of things are online. That's just the way it goes. So yeah, never complain about your job as a content creator. Oh yeah, you can get swatted. Yep, that definitely can happen. Does anybody on the internet care? Yeah, they're going to say that they care, but if you sit there and complain about it all the time, they're going to tell you to get a real job anyway, because they wish they were in your position. Never really complain about being a content creator. Also, don't treat your audience like your own diary. Everybody always talks about parasocial relationships, about how viewers get too emotionally attached to streamers. Well, nobody ever talks about how streamers might get too emotionally attached to their audience and think for a second that, oh, all these people actually really know me, and then I'm going to go play this other game and they're all going to love it. But then whenever you're some Warcraft streamer and you're streaming World of Warcraft for 600 viewers, you swap over to play Apex Legends and you go down to 60 viewers, and all those people who said they were there for you, it turned out they were lying. And it's a very hard pill to swallow. But once you do it, you'll be better off. Because once you understand that and you realize who you are in a healthy way, it'll give you a better outcome or a better outlook on who you want to be. Because if you just spend your whole life pretending like you're another person, living in a fantasy world, you're not going to do yourself any favors, and you're not going to. I've never seen a story like that ends positively. So what I'm really trying to get at here is that if people are being rude to you or something like that, or they're being mad at you or anything, it's important to take what people say into consideration, because again, it is feedback. But at the same time, you shouldn't really have to. I believe in personal censorship. I don't believe in censorship really hardly at all, minus, like, of course, crazy stuff like death threats, doxing, etc. But I don't really believe in that, but I do believe in personal censorship. And what I mean by that is that if you fucking hate bananas, like, I'm talking about, you think they are the most disgusting, ugly, awful things you have ever seen, those big yellow dicks, I think you should be able to say, I'd never want to see bananas again. You should be able to blacklist the word on Twitter, and people that try to push you into talking about it or thinking about bananas, you should ban them. Because at the end of the day, you should have autonomy over your own space and who you are and what you deal with and what you don't deal with.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. I think, though, that you should always keep in mind, though, is if you do this with everything in life that you mildly dislike, you could end up creating an echo chamber, which in and of itself isn't a terrible thing, but it does limit your vision. Like, you aren't going to get the, what's the word I'm looking, you're putting blinders on yourself, you know what I mean? So you're not going to be able to actually see what's going on around you other than what you want to be happening, which is never a good thing.
So if somebody's making you uncomfortable, fucking ban them. If somebody is trying to argue with you, fucking ban them. If somebody's trying to start some sort, or block them as well. And there will always be people that are going to say, oh, well, that just means you're weak. Okay. Why do you need their approval?
Yeah.
This entire,
like, yeah, just ban that person who just said you're weak.
Them saying that is predicated on the idea that what they said matters to you. So just don't let it matter. And then do whatever you want that makes yourself comfortable. Because these are, I mean, you don't even know what this person looks like. You don't know them. They don't know you. How the fuck are they going to say this? Let me tell you something. A lot of people who are very opinionated on the internet have a very high opinion of their own opinions. And they overvalue them. But the reality is that most people's opinions on the internet go straight into the garbage bin.
They also have the thinnest of skins. Like, as soon as their opinion is criticized in any way, they're gonna be bawling, like, flipping out.
Hey, I didn't like store mounts for 10 years in World of Warcraft. I still don't like them. Blizzard's put that in the garbage bin. They've taken it out, they've recycled it, and they put it in the garbage bin about every 6 months now. Nobody gives a fuck what I think. And you know what? Sometimes that's a very freeing thing, is to know that you're not, you can't hold some, like, massive group of people accountable. But, the other side of that is that they can't do that to you either. You can be yourself, and you don't need anybody else's approval to do so, except your own. And, of course, the platform that you're streaming on, so make sure you don't get banned. But other than that, be yourself, and don't say sorry. I don't know why it's so hard for a lot of people, and it's taken me a long time to get to this position. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not at the destination yet. But this is how far I've gotten so far, and these are the things that I've learned over the years. And I'd like to recap everything just to talk a little bit about it, okay? Number one, criticism that you get that is based off of an insult of your personal appearance should be immediately discarded and not taken seriously at all.
Yeah.
2, treat yourself like content. The good stuff that happens to you is content, the bad stuff that happens to you is content.
That's also very true. Like, even and when he says bad stuff that happens to you, it also could, in a sense, be bad things that are things that you see as bad, like the whole Hogwarts Legacy harassment thing. Is he's milked it extremely hard, even though he completely disagrees with the whole, like, harassing people thing. And it was the same with Johnny Depp trial. You know what I mean? Like, everyone pretty much was just like, well, after hearing the testimonies and stuff, we're on Johnny Depp's, team, I guess, whatever you want to call it, side. But at the same time, if there was ever another trial you know everyone would want to see it.
Number
Like, basically, even the Velma stuff, that's actually a better way to look at it. Velma being like this freaking garbage fire of content, or of a show, still like was huge in terms of content creation for a lot of people.
Number one, it disconnects you from the outcome. Number two, it gives you autonomy over it. Three, you need to also take criticism seriously, of course, if a lot of people are saying something, but at the same time, don't let it change what you believe, and don't let it change who you are. And I would also say a fourth one is, let me think. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this, or the best way to do it, is that you can't really be canceled unless you become a version of yourself that is antithetical to who viewers think you are. So, for example, whenever people found out that Keemstar said the N-word, nobody really was surprised. You know, like, this wasn't really a big surprise. But if some other person who's, you know, like a big, like a, you know, social awareness person, social justice,
Hassan.
They care about this, if this happened to them, it would completely cancel them. And the reason for that is because that person,
Or maybe not Hassan. I'm not sure who would be it. Because, like I said, I don't watch Hassan enough to know. But I feel like that kind of sounds like him, but I'm not sure.
did something that is directly contradictory to the image that they portrayed online. And
Yeah.
I've been canceled on Twitter. Now, I didn't know this. I had to have somebody tell me that I was canceled because I didn't check Twitter that day. And sometimes, like, articles will be written about how, you know, people are harassing me on Twitter. I didn't... I really mean this. Like, if I see somebody, like, if you type something rude to me, I will just instantly block you. I won't read it. I will just see, okay, this person's being aggro, they're being rude. I'm not going to read it. I don't have to. There's no reason to. I don't need, and if they say, oh, well, you're weak, or you have a big ego for doing that, sure, think whatever you want.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't bother me. I don't.
Yep.
Why would it matter? Why would it matter what they think? So, do what's comfortable for you. Do what makes you happy, and you will be happy. Do what other people want. Do what makes them happy, and you'll make them happy. And I think that's what it all comes down to. And if you are happy and you're making good content, people will show up and people will care and they'll appreciate you. If you make them happy, you're only waiting until the time that you don't. So yeah, in general, do whatever you want to do. Don't apologize for shit that you're not sorry for. Don't try to be a person you're not. And don't take things personally. Don't care. It's so hard to do.
It really
But
is for a lot of people.
Whenever you get to that point, you will be so happy you made it. And that's how to deal with internet harassment from somebody who's been fucking... Oh my god, I don't know how many of these... Like, I feel like it's, you know, it's like like, remember you get your driver's license, or you turn 21, you can finally drink. And it's like, I see friends of mine, and they get their first hate thread, or they get canceled on Twitter for the first time. It's like, oh man, they grow up so quick. You know, it's almost fucking funny for me to see this, but I'm sure for them the world's falling apart. But just remember that it's actually not. Nobody really cares. And the real best apology for anything is better content. So if people aren't happy with what you're doing, they're not happy with what you said, they're not happy with your current content, you know how best to apologize to them? Is make better content. It's very hard to do. It's a lot easier to say that you're just getting bullied on Twitter, isn't it? It is. But the harder option is, in this case, in my opinion, the best one. And that's my best advice. So thanks for watching, guys. I'd be curious to hear... Fucking piece of shit. See that loud little ringing sound? I'm so sorry. I don't know what that is. I have to hit it in like tactical ways. Right?
What he was doing.
It's like a fucking Konami code with this fucking refrigerator to get it to turn off and stop making that fucking noise. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'd be curious to hear your feedback in the comments, and if your feedback is rude, I'll fucking ban you. Thanks a lot for watching. See you later. Peace.
That's funny. Okay, well, let's give that a like, and let's take a look for a few of these comments. Asman puts himself out there in many ways to be criticized. He really does. And gets in a skill most will never know. Staying true to what you do. and who you are despite it not being easy, whether you're a kid at school, work online. I don't know about work. I don't think you should do it in work, because work is not a place where you should be doing that anyways. That's not a personal space. You're at work. Just do your job. Listening to experience itself is what helps. Makes this so interesting. Great video. Yeah, no, I definitely agree that. I mean, nothing what he said just now had to do with the video itself, but in the sense, I think that's what a lot of people like Hasbin for, is that he doesn't let the majority or like these crazy people dictate how he acts or does things or says things. So okay, well, yeah, no, Asma has matured in his content. Longtime viewers have watched him go from a punk WoW kid player into an introspective and at times wise adult. Yeah, I don't know when I started watching Asman, honestly. Like, I can't even remember like some of the first videos I've seen of his. Like, I'm trying to recall, and I honestly really cannot. I think it might have been the Johnny Depp trial. No, that's definitely not the case. I've seen him before that. I just don't think I was like that big of a fan of his until then. So, but yeah, no, really good video. I agree at almost every point. I like he mentioned it, and I said it right away when he said disconnect yourself from it. Like, don't take it personal. I think that is probably going to be the most difficult part of his advice, just because people do take it personal when they create something. That's their creation, basically. You know what I mean? So when that creation is getting criticized in a negative light, in a negative way, like, people are going to take that personal. Like, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to not take that personal. So, all right, so that's that video. And since we're on the topic, we're gonna go with J.K. Rowling. Threatens to sue activists. I don't know how that would work, because I think that's free speech, right? And she's in the UK, so, well, let's see what this is about.
Apparently, there have been people that have been talking a bunch of bullshit on Twitter, and the same crowd that is that's all about freedom of speech isn't freedom from consequences. Well, now they're getting some consequences, and they don't like it.
I wonder how this is going to work, though. I mean, if she does it, then... Oh, I see. Maybe they called her a Nazi.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it looks like some people fooled around and found out. Can we say fooled around?
Is that your new favorite expression?
I can't say the other one because it gets us demonetized. But they fooled around and found out what happens when you call one of the richest women in the world a Yahtzee. Looks like they're going to get sued. And I got to tell you the truth. As someone who's been on the receiving end of that myself, I think more people need to sue more often, and this would stop.
Well, it was clearly not being sued. It was the threatened. So basically, the way this probably worked is that J.K. Rowling had her lawyers send this person a scary message, and they said you have to retract your statements and say that you were totally wrong. So they retracted their statements, and they said that they were totally wrong.
Yeah.
I think this is a very...
Because the threat of being sued for most people is enough. It's the same way with like laws and stuff like that. Like, the threat of going to jail stops most people from stealing.
Good thing. I very much dislike the idea that people just like go absolutely apeshit with like calling you a Nazi and like a murderer and like this like right-wing extremist, especially Nazi, because Nazi is a very defined term. Like, you shouldn't just be allowed to just go around and call people that whenever it can damage their reputation. You just shouldn't be able to do this. Oh, are we saved? Did we have a little F? Yeah, I did
Not without
see that
any
coming.
real,
Yeah, exactly. Neither did he.
Real substance to it. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be different if J.K. Rowling had actually said things that, you know, that were part of the Nazi agenda. But she hasn't. So
Yeah, not without hard proof. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So again, I find it to be very funny that these are the same people that start talking about consequences for what you're saying on the internet and how good that is, but now they're acting like victims whenever actual consequences happen.
Yep.
So
pretty
no
much.
freedom of speech. Interesting. Libel and slander have never been freedom of speech. I'm
that
not
guy's
sure
an
if you knew
idiot.
that or not. But yes, libel and slander have never been freedom of speech. I don't support them being freedom of speech. And I don't support calling random people Nazis with no repercussions and no reason to be able to say that. Like, there's no reason you should be able to do that. Legally, you shouldn't, because the law forbidding speech would be bad.
Like I said on Twitter, you know, and I've mentioned many times on our videos, these people have turned the word Nazi into being meaningless, which is really, really tragic because it used to mean something. There was like not much else you could think of that's worse than that.
Yeah.
It was, you know, being called that was a massive insult. Now it just means you don't like the cartoon I liked, or you don't like the TV show I liked, or you didn't vote the way I thought you should vote, or something stupid like that.
I think it was only a matter of time though, because isn't that normal? They use just the worst word in their dictionary to try to insult people with.
So they have already made the word meaningless.
Which does a huge disservice. I mean, for all the talk of the goblins in Harry Potter being anti-Semitic, which is only a recent thing, by the way. I mean, the movies have been around.
Nah, I don't really agree with that. I think that people made the correlation with the goblins being anti-Semitic by about the 4th or 5th movie. Somewhere around there, I think that a lot of people were talking about it.
Yeah, but is that any different than World of Warcraft goblins? Like, just straight up? Like, if you're gonna diss on Harry Potter's goblins, or J.K. Rowling's goblins, whatever, like, how is Warcraft any different? You know what I mean? Like, they're business focused, they're all about the money. Time is money, you know what I mean? So I don't know if I agree with it.
Like, whenever they actually went to Gringotts the first time. Yeah, no, I mean, like, we were a lot younger, but I do remember this happening. But, like, let's be real, okay? It was not even remotely as big as it is now. There were just a few people that were having commentary on this. But it's not like this was unknown.
Over 2 decades, and I have only recently heard accusations that J.K. Rowling made the goblins anti-Semitic.
People said that was going on before, but you know, if you look at goblins and you think Jewish person, there's a problem with you.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that either, because I think that to that extent, any single time, like, so for example, any sort of, you know, like black caricaturing or any sort of usage of stereotypes, being able to identify or see that this is a usage of this stereotype.
Well, you also gotta look at what you're seeing as the stereotype. Like, is anyone who is money-centric a stereotype as a Jew for you? That's kind of an issue with you. And I think that's what she was referring to. Like, if you just see, like, okay, there's this race that loves making money. You know what I mean? Like, they're banks and they're bankers and stuff. And you see that as, like, Jewish, then that's kind of an issue. Because it's like, okay, well, why do you see that as Jewish? You know what I mean? It's the same with, those who see islanders, like the trolls from World of Warcraft, and they see that as like almost like African, like not like African Americans, or like, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not like trying to be racist here, but it's like they see it as like the what's the word I'm looking for? Jamaican, in a sense, you know what I mean? Like black Jamaican. And it's like, I don't see it as that big of a deal, because it's not like they're actually trying to insult these people or anything like that. It's just, okay, that it's fine to have that. I think it's similar to like dwarves loving like jewels and digging and stuff like that. It's like no one has ever brought up that problem, because there's not a real world race that does that. You know what I mean? It's not like Asians like going into mountains and digging in them. But if there was a race that does that, now people would see it as an issue. It's the same with like a race liking money. You know what I mean? Like in this case, goblins. Like they like money. They like making money. They're merchants. They're in general like, but I think it does make it a little bit more sense for the goblins in Harry Potter, right? Because they're not really magical. So what are they gonna do? Like, yeah, they're gonna rely on their minds and they're gonna try to do something in that sense. And from what I've seen, not all of them are like really money centric. You know what I mean? I mean, in a sense, yes, but they're not like all bankers. Some of them, yes, but a lot of them are just normal merchants. So I don't know if I would agree that it's anti-Semitic in any way. I just think that the race as a whole was designed to value money, or like making money, I would suppose. And if that's what you see as Jewish people, then that's, you're kind of putting your own stereotypes in there.
I don't think this necessarily makes you a racist.
Because it's like, I think the biggest problem with the anti-Semitic stuff is that Jewish people thought they were better than everyone because they made more money. Like, you not making good money means you're kind of a piece of shit. Like, you're not even worth talking to. No, I don't think I've seen that in Harry Potter. And I think that was the worst part about the anti-Semitic thing. I could be wrong, though. It's a complex issue, I would say.
Because you can identify that somebody could be using negative racial stereotypes. It doesn't really logically make sense. Now, it doesn't mean that every single time that you see someone that has something that could be portrayed as a negative racial stereotype, that is what it is. I think that's also very true.
That's what I was saying.
I don't like the logic of, if you see this, then you're the actual racist.
Oh, no. If that's, and that's like, I agree with that, because I wasn't saying like you're racist, but I do think that if you see it and you immediately think anti-Semitic or whatever, I don't think that makes you anti-Semitic or racist. I think that there is something going on with you that you may need to look at, because you're seeing the worst in everything, in a sense, right? So that's what I was referring to.
I think that if you see this and you say this is for sure what it is, then yeah, for sure. But no, I think that it's fair to identify things. Does that make sense?
Or show concern, like, is this anti-Semitic?
There are actual anti-Semitic dog whistles. There are actual racist dog whistles that happen. And recognizing those things does not make you a racist for seeing them.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I also as I was mentioning, it doesn't equate exactly to racism, seeing it, or anti-Semitic, because it's in there. So, but no, definitely agree. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break because I actually gotta go do something real quick. So I'll be right back. Just gonna play some, or make the volume a little better here. All right, I'll be back. Okay. Let's go ahead and keep watching it.
It's ridiculous. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But
Okay.
what happens is when somebody makes that accusation, or when they decide you are a certain kind of person, then they start looking for supporting evidence. So what their supporting evidence is going to be is like, well, she's a Yahtzee clearly because she wrote the goblins to be anti-Semitic, which every single commenter on that Microsoft article was like, yeah, no, that's not true.
Well, then I guess
Yeah, that's the thing, is that a lot of these people, you have to keep in mind that, what do you call it? You have to keep in mind that a lot of these people are just working backwards.
Yep.
They don't think about what they're saying at all. They just put this label on somebody. It's a dehumanization label. And this is just what happens, is that you put a label on somebody like, oh, they're a Nazi,
It makes it easier to hate them too. You no longer see them as a person.
or they're a racist, or like Antifa, like far-right extremist, like alt-right, and you put this label on them, and this allows you to dehumanize them. This allows you to treat them like they are no longer a person because
Yep,
they fall
exactly.
inside a category of people that do not deserve to be treated the same.
Yeah, it's the whole tribalism thing. You just put them in a tribe you hated and you believe does not deserve any, what's the word I'm looking for, remorse or empathy, which obviously Nazis didn't. But by putting them in that tribe, giving them that label, you are giving yourself a get out of jail for free card on anything you do to them. So
Because of their own actions. So I'm very much against this. Sometimes it makes sense, but I think in most cases it does not.
exactly. It's like that the Atomic Heart video previous, where he's like, if you want to be neutral, refund the game. It's like he was always like, based on that video, if you didn't refund the game, you were a Russian sympathizer, and you agreed with the whole Ukraine thing. So it's like, it's such a ridiculous argument to make that it's similar to this, like, because J.K. Rowling had goblins that were, money hungry, she's now a Nazi.
they're Nazis because they've taken the word to make it, mean nothing, so that there's nothing to throw at them.
Oh, the irony. The irony
Yeah.
in all this. So before we get into any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over, 293, almost 294,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We have been talking a lot about Hogwarts Legacy lately because everybody's talking about Hogwarts Legacy. It is one of the most popular games released of the last couple of years. And of course, people are going to air their grievances with J.K. Rowling. And they're going to use the game to do it because headlines, right? But now she's going to sue people if they defame her. And look, normally I'd be like, turn the other cheek. It's kind of ridiculous. Somebody just calls you names or whatever. No, what happens is
I don't think that it's okay for people to defame you in a tangible way. I think it's okay if somebody criticizes and says that, like their evaluation of your work is that it promotes anti-Semitic tropes. And also, she's not suing that person. She's suing the person specifically who called her a Nazi,
Yeah.
which I think is totally fair. You shouldn't just be able to go around and say, hey, this person's a fucking Nazi, because why should you be able to do that? This can hurt their career. It can damage their credibility. It can make other people feel like it's okay to harass and attack them. And it's also not true. It's a very big accusation. You can't just go around throwing accusations out there with no evidence.
Yeah, it was similar to that one TikToker who was like pretending she had psychic powers, and she was like basically making videos about how this one lady was a killer in a shooting, and even though they had already caught the person. And she, I think, got sued as well, because it's like, you can't just make accusations like that.
is
That's
these people
defamation.
are usually
Yeah.
part of networks, and it's usually some kind of like coordinated attack, and they think if they repeat the term enough times, that their friends in the media will pick up on
But
it.
they're right. They did.
Yeah,
That's what
they do.
happens. That's exactly what happens. They try to form this narrative because they're mad about something. And make no mistake, that I believe in a lot of cases, it's a coordinated effort.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is. There are discords and
Oh yeah, definitely. There's groups of people that try to go out of their way to like. It's the same as like in classic WoW. Whenever everybody would like report the same guy in like world boss coalitions, like my world boss coalition did this. They would always like all right click the same person to report them to get them suspended. Like, of course people do this on Twitter. If we were doing this in classic WoW, I mean, yeah, of course that's what's happening.
Blacks and Facebook groups where journalists and Twitter activists collude to try to get people canceled. And J.K. Rowling is, of course, the biggest target because she's one of the most famous authors in the world right now. And
I also don't think that you need a formal conspiracy when interests converge and viewpoints converge. It's like, I don't sit around and talk. I don't have a group chat with like the Actman and the Quartering where we talk about, you know, like what videos we're going to make about this topic. It's just that we have, in general, like kind of the same viewpoints on this. So
Like
we're all
Velma
going to make the
as
same
well.
types of videos. Does that make sense?
Like how everyone's
And,
making Velma videos, even though obviously it's not like everyone got together and was like, hey, let's all diss on Velma.
you know, Hogwarts Legacy is a huge deal. And yeah, of course, you know, they're just going to flippantly call people Nazis. We've been called Nazis. In fact, boy, I would love to sue Anime News Network for that one, but you know, we'll see. You mind your manners. We'll see where we're at. But the thing is you if you defame somebody and you run with this narrative that they are something they are not, and it actually hurts their career and hurts you know their public persona, then yeah, you can actually get sued for it. This has happened on multiple occasions. It happened with the CNN kid. Even
it was the kid in the fucking something Sandman, and he settled with CNN, and he probably got like millions of fucking dollars because they misrepresented him.
Quartering, he got hit by a guy at Gen Con.
It's the same with what's his face? The dude about conspiracies. I forget his name now. That's weird. Like even though he's like really big too. Doesn't matter. Like what he was saying about the Sandy Hook their parents. Yeah. You just can't just be throwing out allegations against people with no substance.
And that guy in
And
the
not
dress,
expect
the
to be
guy
sued
had
after.
to, like Princess Matt or whatever his name was, he had to apologize. Now, weirdly, the Quartering got banned from Gen Con permanently, but
I don't
he
know
still
what that
had
was.
to apologize and said, no, I do not think he is actually
Did the other
a
person
Nazi.
get banned from the court?
No, they did not.
Of course not.
They did
See,
not.
I'd go after Gen Con for discrimination. But, you know, like, and J.K. Rowling has so much money that she could easily drag you people to court and keep dragging you to court, and it could drag you out until you run out of money and pull a Disney on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
God,
Yep.
know, I think more people need to do this so Twitter realizes that there are actually consequences. You can't just rant. You can fiercely disagree with somebody, but you can't just call them Nazis. So this is coming from Fox News. Rowling critic forced to publicly apologize for calling her a Nazi after a lawsuit threat. Self-professed drag queen and jazz hands enthusiast apologized to J.K. Rowling for causing potential upset.
Wait, you literally put in their bio, jazz hands enthusiast.
Yes.
What?
So
The fuck is jazz hands?
they talk about her controversy. We've talked about
The
that.
fuck
at
is
length.
that?
We don't need to go there again.
I think I've
Here we
seen it
go.
in a
December
movie. I can't remember, though.
2022, Rowling responded to one of her detractors. The thing about the solicitor's game is everyone can play. JJ, I ignored your hyperbolic metaphor about burning me to death in 2020. I'm starting to think that was a mistake. What's your solicitor's view on this Nazi accusation? Would they advise you to defend it in court? And this is what Jazz Hands JJ said. Wisely, she screen capped it, so we've got the whole thing.
Well, to be fair, the woman in question wasn't actually being threatened with being burned alive. Hyperbolic metaphor based on her original tweet. Oh,
Well, to
he's
be
gonna
fair,
read
the
it.
woman in
Never mind.
question wasn't actually being threatened with being burned alive. Hyperbolic metaphor based on her original tweet. But you know that you're playing dumb intentionally for clout. And she also is a Nazi. Or at least has views that align
In
with
what
them.
way?
Oh, she actually is a Nazi. Okay, so he actually did go, or at least has views that align with them. Yeah, nice try.
They never clarify in what way. I don't think these people understand what a Nazi actually is. I don't think they understand what fascism actually
My man
is.
doubled down.
Well, okay, so
Well,
that
people, of course, double down because he's probably used to spending his entire life using this term as a way to cow people into submission.
Yeah.
So that's why he does it.
Because no
is
one wants
because
to
it
be
works.
called a Nazi or be
Is that
associated
One
with
like,
that.
oh no, it doesn't matter. The thing is that, and this is actually a very effective way of intimidation. This is my best advice, is that if you want people to be intimidated by you, never be fair. Always be unfair. Because fairness can be predicted, it can be calculated, and it can be expected.
Manipulated
but
also.
unfairness,
You don't know what's going to happen.
You know, you get one like and you just say something, you know, that's like just kind of bad, and they take you to fucking court and you get a lawsuit from this person who's like a fucking billionaire, and like your entire life is like right in front of you, could happen. You're going to have to go to court. And like, yeah, that's going to scare the shit out of people because there's no way to predict what they're going to do. And people are afraid of what they can't predict. Always be unpredictable.
Yeah, that's the whole, what is the term that they use? Slaughtering the chicken to scare the monkeys or something like that. I think that's a Chinese proverb. I'm not sure. But anyways, it's the whole, like, do something kind of crazy. Not even crazy, but, like, really set an example so it's like they don't know if that will happen again kind of thing.
Of the public school system, because you know we've done videos on that. There were schools that won't teach about World War II because it hurts people's feelings.
I'm just like, you know, yeah. I'm just like, I mean, and then the hyper. Okay, so wait. So if someone threatens to hurt JJ here, can't they just say that? Oh, that was this hyperbolic metaphor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they yell and scream if someone makes a comment to them, like them. You know, I'm gonna slap you. You know, 7 ways to Sunday. Oh my God, they threatened to hurt me. Well, maybe it's hyperbolic metaphor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you can make hyperbolic metaphors that don't have to do with physical violence. It's pretty simple. You just don't do it.
Yep.
Like, yeah, just that's it. Problem solved.
Yeah, you really have to be careful because here's the thing. Again, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, I would have been like, whatever, they're just calling you names. Now we know that these people will go out of their way to try to destroy your career. They'll try to drive you to suicide.
They'll put your address out there hoping somebody else harms you and they don't have the balls to do it.
Exactly it. Yeah.
Oh, of course, right? Because will they believe that you're an evil, bad person?
Yep. That's what I was
like,
saying.
These are the people.
Like, because they put you in this this label on you, which puts you in this tribe of not being a Nazi, like, it doesn't matter what happens to you because you're a bad person. You know, they're the good guys for if anything even happens to you also. That's how they're going to view it.
People that think that it's okay to punch Nazis, and anybody who disagrees with them is a Nazi.
Yep.
I can see where this is going.
Like the doxing and stuff, that's not. Yeah, they'll say, well, I just posted publicly available information, but they'll put.
Somebody says, so it's not okay to punch Nazis. No, it's not okay to punch Nazis. I will go out there and I will say it. No, you don't get to just go ahead and just ignore the law because some person that you decided is a Nazi. No, it's not. Like, there's a...
Yeah, you can't take that to court. Like, if you assault someone, they take you to court and like, but Your Honor, he's a Nazi. It's like, no, it's not going to be like, oh, okay, we didn't know. My bad. You can go home now. Like, that's never going to happen.
We have a rule of law in the country. We can't just have people going out like, you're not Batman. You're just a bitch. And you're not going to be punching anybody. You're chatting away at 2 a.m. You're not going to be punching anybody. Stop it. No, it's not okay to hit anybody. Unless they hit you first, then you can do whatever you want.
All the information in one place with a bow tie on it, hoping, and put it in a place where they know crazy people congregate, hoping that somebody comes along and does what they fantasize about doing, but they won't actually do themselves.
Well, like they had those people talking about how there was the one feminist convention in, was it UK, and they had people coming in. women of color, Muslim women coming in, and they were like, someone should burn the hotel down.
It was a comic book artist.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
turfs.
Yeah, it was a guy who's been look, the guy that was involved in that. This guy has been stalking comic book creators.
I think this is an internet problem in general, that people feel way too comfortable saying psychotic things on the internet.
Yeah, I agree.
And the problem is that these psychotic things, as the internet has evolved and changed, these psychotic things have real life outcomes. Because
yeah, like swatting, doxing, like it's a lot worse than it used to be.
Who cared what somebody said in 2006? It didn't matter what they say on the internet, because like your name on the internet was Pussy Slayer 420, and his name was Halo Master, fucking 555. Well, that's as far as it's gonna go. Nobody's getting doxxed. Nobody, like, they don't even know what that is. Like, there's just, like, how are you going to figure any of this shit out? Why should anybody care?
Yep.
So the problem now is, like, that's just simply not the way the internet is anymore. The world has changed. And you just can't have people popping off like that. It's just, you can't have that.
Yeah, it's hard to say, because it's almost coming to a case where we may end up getting it to be like South Korea, where, like, your name or your ID and stuff is tied to your internet, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there'd probably be ways around it, but in general, I don't believe it's easy to do. And I think that may curtail quite a bit of harassment online.
Creators on YouTube, YouTube comics creators.
But is it worth it? That's another question.
Like, yeah, we should burn the building down. Like, what is wrong with you?
I don't think most people have problems with trans women. They have problems with the fact that this small group is not even representative of all the trans women.
I think people don't like anybody telling them what to do. It doesn't matter who it is. Somebody says in chat, if I ever see an actual Nazi with a swastika, I would in fact beat the shit out of them. Giga Chad, it's my goddamn right as an American. Actually, it's not. If you go into the law, you will see that there is actually there's not a little asterisk next to assault that if they have a swastika, it's okay to punch them. So it's very funny that you say that it's your right, because that's actually not true. And not only is it not true, it's the opposite of true. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. How about just don't punch people? How about that?
I mean, that's what I said earlier. Like, you're not going to go to court and the judge is going to be like, oh, okay, he's wearing a swastika. Go ahead, you may leave.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Like, just like not punching people, not starting violence.
And why is it always trans women and not trans men? But the small group is out there trying to say that somehow they're women and women that are born women are not.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
So sad.
You're a menstruating person, or you have to use menstruating person because men, trans men aren't women now, or whatever. But this small group of people are trying to force their viewpoints on a much larger group of people, and that larger group of people, who were a minority, were protected. They don't believe they should have any rights now because they should only have the rights, and that's why it's okay to threaten to burn down a hotel with a feminist group in it.
Well, I think the best part about this is most of the people that are threatening to burn down hotels aren't even part of this group. The people that are going out and making these psychotic posts are not even part of the protected group that they're trying to help.
Yeah, because I think there's also some misinformation. Like, drag queen does not mean you're a trans person, by the way. There's a reason why those two words are different. And I'm not saying like you should be like one group is better or worse, but they are two separate groups. So, like, this person being a self-professed drag queen and jazz hand enthusiast, that doesn't mean they're an actual, like, trans person.
These are just psychos that are looking for a witch to burn.
Because drag queen is just someone who likes to cross-dress, which doesn't make you a trans person. Like, that's a different thing.
It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, this is reached peak insanity. Yeah. What is?
Well, give them time. They'll probably find another peak.
The problem is you're actually hurting your cause. When you become militant like this, you're actually hurting your cause. It's like the bans on Hogwarts Legacy and...
Somebody said this in chat, too. I'll read this one, too. Like, it's so fucking unfair. Being trans is a death sentence to my social media because I'm automatically lumped in with psycho Twitter users who think they speak for all of us. Well, unfortunately, you have to deal with other psycho Twitter users that are the opposite.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is you're just dealing with another set of psycho Twitter users. No, everybody, nobody's blaming you. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, nobody here cares. We're just trying to watch the video. We're trying to play video games. But yes, there are people that are going to try to take their agenda and put it in everything.
Yep.
Harassing streamers and all that stuff. Even left-wingers, even Hassan Abi was like, you've gone too far. This is crazy. I was actually...
Hassan managed to fucking... Oh God, I feel so bad for Hassan. He tried to say something that was like obviously true. And they're like, no, we're freedom fighters. We're gonna fight till the last one of us. We ain't gonna go down without trying. He gets caught in the crossfire. Yeah, he's getting hate from people for not playing it. And he's getting hate for people for saying that he's not gonna play it. And then he's getting hate from other people for not playing it. So it's just like everybody's mad at this guy. I don't know. I feel really bad.
Yeah, I think with Hassan, like, he should have done one of two things. Like, either play it, do your charity, and ignore the psychos who are upset with you, or don't play it, don't address it, don't say why you're not playing it, just don't even have it in there. Maybe react to other people's stuff, or react or comment, whatever you want to do. But I think his problem was that, one, he said he wasn't going to play it, so that immediately was going to get a group on him, because whether you play it or not, one group is not going to like you. And then secondly, why he wasn't playing it was because he thought it was because of the harassers, not because he himself believed in the cause. So him not playing it would have made the people who don't believe in the cause be mad at him, but him not playing it because of the harassment made the people who are believing in the cause hate him as well. So he did it in the one of the worst ways possible to get basically everyone mad at him.
It wasn't fair at all. Yeah, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, literally, you can't win.
Yeah.
You're gonna stream it and give the money to like the Trevor Project or something, like
Yeah.
some charity, and you screw that up.
And all
Yeah.
it's doing is creating more division,
Yes.
more hate, more distrust between people. And it doesn't need to be this way. And we keep saying, like, years ago, it wasn't like...
So, guys, please, can we not do this thing? He accommodates the punch and not to behavior. Okay, so fine, I disagree with him on that. Like, I have a lot of disagreements with a lot of people, and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. You don't have to agree with it, every single take someone has.
I disagree with him on that. I disagreed with him on the cracker thing as well. There are things that I've said that he disagrees with. It's not a big deal. Like, I don't need to, like, in order to, like, appreciate what somebody does, I don't have to approve of every single thing that they've ever said.
Yeah. And it even works with, like, friends. Like, you're not always going to agree with everything with your friends. Depending on what it is, most of the time, it doesn't really even matter. You know what I mean? Some things, maybe. Like, I had an argument with my friend over cuties, and that person's no longer my friend. But that is different. Like, most of the time, though, like, it's just like, oh, okay. It's like, maybe they like a video game that you hate. You know what I mean? It's literally to that level, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
like this. And for all their work come so far. No, you haven't. You've set us back decades with this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
God. So yeah, the Death Eaters here. So yeah, she responded with a threat of legal action in December. Okie dokie, JJ, Jazz Hands JJ, we'll play it your way. Give my regards to your solicitor. On Monday, 2 months after the Nazi accusation, Wells issued a retraction.
Ah, there it is.
I would like to publicly apologize for
fucking
a previous
around
Twitter
and
thread
finding
where I
out.
interacted with J.K. Rowling on matters relating to the transgender community. I have now removed these tweets and would like to apologize to J.K. Rowling directly for causing potential upset. I would also like to retract my likening to J.K. Rowling to any far-right or Nazi organization and emphasize I do not wish any individual inclusive of J.K. Rowling, to come to any harm. Yeah, lawyer wrote that. Lawyer wrote that.
So
Yep.
she must have followed through.
Yeah. This needs to happen more often. I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, you can call people names, whatever, but again, the intention isn't just to make them feel bad. The intention is to destroy their lives, get that label to stick, hopefully get them to kill themselves or something. I mean,
Yeah, if the intention was just to criticize and have their opinion heard, that's different. They are actively trying to defame her and cancel her in a sense. So that's what's different. Like, if you're just saying like, "Hey, I think you or your statements are transphobic" or something like that, that's different than saying, "Hey, I think you're a Nazi."
these people are absolutely vicious.
I mean, it's even then, like, I don't think it's that good of a thing, like transphobic versus Nazi, but it's still a case where it's like, I think I phrased that wrong. So I think it's okay to say things like, "I don't agree with your statement on trans people," versus calling her a transphobic or hating trans people, because you're actually saying something. You're putting words in her mouth. Like, she didn't say she hated trans people. If she did, you could retweet that. You know what I mean? Like, it would be retweeted all over the place just because it's something that she actually said, but she didn't. So that's why you don't see it.
And malicious.
Oh, yeah,
They're
absolutely.
not going to do anything, but they're going to try to weaponize other people to do stuff.
Right, that's exactly what they're trying to do. Like, don't make the bullets want somebody else to fire them.
No, I agree with that. I think that if somebody like this killed themselves, there'd be a ton of people celebrating it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
As ghoulish as that sounds,
yeah, I was about to
as
say.
with most things in life, I'm taking the black pill. I think that's what would happen.
Oh, it wasn't me.
Yep, and they would be like, "Good, like the world's a better place with that." Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are people who are going to do that.
Wasn't me. I got all these people upset. I went out deliberately to
Sadly.
upset people to get them riled up, and then I said,
No
"Oh,
pun
there they
intended.
are.
No
Yeah,
pun
yeah,
intended.
there they are. Go,
Yep.
there's where they live. Go get them." And then something happens, but I'm innocent. I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, this is ridiculous. You know, and the thing is she's got more money now because of people like you, JJ. Because you threatened her, you dogpiled her.
Tweet.
All these people are calling for a boycott of Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Because of all the backlash, because of her being targeted, and she was one of the most beloved authors of the last century. Because of all this, you actually guaranteed that she's going to make Hogwarts money for years to come. She's going to make Wizarding World money for years to come. And if she has to use a little bit of that to smack a bitch here and there, you do what you got to do.
Well, I just think it's funny because then
That
there's
was a
other
good-
news sites talking about how her grandkids
That
are
was
going to have
funny.
money,
I didn't
and
expect that.
someone should just punch them. You know?
Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Well, yeah, she's got a
I haven't
podcast
seen
coming
that,
up.
so
She's
I
gonna,
don't know what that is.
talk with Barry Weiss, I think, about it, and they're kind of promoting that right now. But yeah, she's been canceled harder
Yeah.
than anybody I can think of, but it's actually backfired tremendously. I mean, it's and a lot of companies now are like, yeah, she really. I mean, even if they don't agree with her, they're like, can we agree that Harry Potter's pretty good and we're gonna all make money on Harry Potter?
That's why the companies like. That's
Yeah.
why the companies like her.
It's the same with how Blizzard was with the China thing. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't really give a shit what was happening in China because China was making the money.
See the money part. There we go. That's the big part.
Let's just keep
Yeah.
making Harry Potter, but to get the stick, of course.
All these companies will post flags on Pride Month all every year, every single time. But if it comes between money and doing that, then this is a different situation. We're gonna have to look at people's freedom of speech. We're gonna have to see what they have to say. People have their rights, and we're not entirely sure what she says. Bro, you're being played. If any of that marketing is effective to you, you are being absolutely fucking hoodwinked.
They're trying to play this goblin card now, and again, I didn't hear anything about this when the movie first came out.
Apparently, it was a thing, but it was a very little thing. And yeah.
So for almost 20 years, nobody really mentioned it until they decided they didn't like her. Now they're going to dig this up.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: when I look at the characters, I don't think, "Oh, it's a Jewish person." I think it's a goblin. Just like orcs. I don't think, "Oh my God, it's a black person." I'm just like, "Oh, it's an orc."
Yeah, people said orcs were black people. This is pretty popular like maybe 2 years ago. A lot of people aren't saying this anymore because there's not really much of a foundation on it. No, like what she's saying is I understand that like it might seem like a big diversion, but yes, this did happen.
No, she said it, that it happened, but it was a very small thing, which even Asmin, just prior to this, was saying, yeah, not many people talked about it, but it did happen. So she basically said exactly what Asmin did.
You know, because it's not real.
God, this is ridiculous. Yeah, so they're really...
I think that the goblin thing, like I think you can make a very strong argument that the way goblins are portrayed in most forms of traditional fantasy media does have massive overlaps with Jewish stereotypes. I think you can absolutely say that.
Other than them making money and are all about money, like what other stereotype is he referring to? Maybe I'm not thinking of it, because the only times I ever see it like coming into play is that specific stereotype, which to me is like it's not that big of a thing. Like, okay, they like to make money, so yes, they're going to be involved in banking, they're going to be merchants, they're going to be businessmen. But if that's all it was anti-Semitic, it's like, from what I understand, that's not why people really don't like Jewish, or like even anti-Semitic people don't like Jewish people just because they make a lot of money. To be fair, most people don't like people who make a lot of money, especially if they brag about it. So I don't think that really is the core reason. From my little understanding of it, it really is a case where it's the whole stereotype is that Jewish people see when you don't make a lot of money, you're literally trash. I could be wrong in that, but that is my understanding of it. And I don't think that really applies here. Maybe it does. I haven't seen the new Harry Potter movies. Like, I've seen, I think, the first 3, and I never really bothered watching the rest.
I think you're right. But I think that what goblins are and the like lore and everything about that has transcended so far from what that looks on a surface level that you can say that, but it is disingenuous to say that because of that, they are anti-Semitic fundamentally.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I haven't seen, other than these media, okay, it's coming from Game Pure. It's not like it's
Dwarves are Mexican? No, they're Scottish.
Other than some of these journos on these outlets, I haven't seen a lot of real people.
I mean, you also can say that about like dwarves with like Irishmen in a sense, right? It's all about drinking beer and stuff like that.
Mentioning this, talking about it.
No, because they're trying to create a controversy. That's what
she's 100% right about this.
Yeah.
The anti-Semitic plot controversy thing, like this is they're creating controversy and creating drama so they can make videos and make like do articles about this. Like,
it's also the case like the main villain in Hogwarts, like the goblin dude, is not a banker. The dude is just a freaking dark mage kind of thing. So it's not like he's evil because he's like hoarding all the money. You know what I mean?
How could I possibly know that?
To cancel her.
Right. They not just that or anything. Yeah. They need news, they need clicks,
Clickbait, yeah.
And they want to get their own way. So you're just gonna make up shit and generate stuff just to cause an issue. Just to try to do whatever they can. And it's like, but then they look like how istophobic are they? Because they're perpetuating this idea that goblins are stand-ins for Jewish people. How anti-Semitic of you.
Yeah, right?
I find that to be such an intellectually dishonest argument. I think that to an extent that is true, but I find it to be an intellectually dishonest argument, even though I agree with the conclusion that she has. I think that's a bad way to get at it.
Having it at this point.
Yeah, because he's basically, like, both sides make sense, but I think with her, she's jumping a few steps in not really going over, like, the core thing of it. So her thing was that she's saying, oh, if you see goblin people and you see it as in, like, Jewish people, like, there's an issue with you, but it's like, with Jewish stereotypes, yes, goblins do have some of it. I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison, but there definitely is some of it there. So to say that it's not there is also disingenuous.
This is gonna pass.
People are onto this shit.
They're on.
It's not saying that it is the case where J.K. Rowling did it specifically for that reason, because there have been other cases where goblins are, like, money hungry. Like, well, look at WoW. But to say that's what Asmon's argument is. Like, just because yes, they do have some of those symptoms, that does not make it an anti-Semitic thing.
Onto it.
You're welcome.
I think that the J.K. Rowling situation, the Harry Potter situation, is going to be a massive tipping point, because even people that are, you know, on the left that are down with trans rights and all that are even like, this has gone too far. It's insane. You know, you shouldn't be harassing people for playing a game that she barely had anything to do with. And yeah, you're going to fool around. You're going to get yourself sued. And it needs to happen more often. More people should get sued for trying to destroy other people's careers intentionally with lies. Now, if you're saying, hey, this person did that or whatever, but I mean, you're flat out saying she is a Nazi, which is patently untrue, and you're repeating it again and again and again.
You figure if you all say it in lockstep, it'll make it true.
Yeah.
Just because you repeat a lie 100 times doesn't make it the truth.
You're reading too much Harry Potter. It's not like a spell where you can all just like make it happen by wanting it to happen. We're gonna wrap this up. Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
I've seen their videos before.
There it is. I pretty much agree with this. Absolutely. I think more people need to be held accountable whenever they're saying something that is just so, like, blatantly untrue. Like,
I don't know about saying things that are untrue, but defaming people and like putting labels on them when that is not true. Like, if you want to be a flat earther, like, do you. But if you want to go around calling people Nazis, that's completely different.
calling somebody a Nazi.
Yeah.
Like, that is just fucking crazy to say that. Like, I mean, if you looked into, like, what Nazis really did... Bro, like, that was some disgusting, horrible shit. It's not even remotely close. It was much worse. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Schindler's List. Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff like, there was like some, like, this wasn't a very common thing, but like they would make skin with people's, or make furniture, like lamps with people's skin. It was obviously
Jeez,
like,
what?
you know, gassing all of them, having them sell each other out, human experiments, like everything, man. It was nuts. Experiment on twins, yeah. Carpets with hair. I didn't hear about the carpets with hair.
1 second.
That
Steven
was
is acting
the-
out.
They killed pregnant women? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that they did. You know why? Because they were fucking Nazis. They're
Yeah.
not tweeting. They're going out and they're killing people systematically. Yeah, Nazis killed over 6 million civilians. They killed a lot of people, man. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there's the video. I think this is a great video. I hope that more people get held accountable for just spreading lies with no foundation whatsoever. I think that saying that the, providing, just like for context, I also think that saying that the game has anti-Semitic tropes, I also think it's totally fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. Because it's critical.
I mean, yes, I think the one banker was a goblin, but other than that, like, is that really an anti-Semitic? I mean, in a sense it is, but it's, I don't know. Does that say any race you make as a banking, like a race that likes to be bankers, is anti-Semitic? Like, I don't know.
It's critical review. Even though I disagree with it and I think it's stupid, it is critical review.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Like, you can have that criticism, doesn't make it a legit criticism. Yeah. No, I agree with that. So, yeah. Good video. Kind of like that. And of course, I'll like the original video as well, but yeah. I mean, that's fair, though. I think if you're going to go around putting labels on people that aren't true, like, there should be, you should be held responsible for that. Like I really don't know if they'll ever get to a point where it's like South Korea, where your ID is connected, you know, via online, so you can't just go off on people. I wonder how it is in South Korea. That's an interesting conversation. If they have like the level of harassment that the US does. Okay. So next video, I'm done with Dragonflight with Preach and Asmon. Let's take a look.
All right, I'm done with Dragonflight, and that's great.
Since Dragonflight came out, We have a roadmap
Hair's
of what the
looking
things
good.
are, and as far as Project MMO goes, where are we right now?
Project
Let's go.
MMO.
I wonder what that is. I have no idea.
The first thing I want to talk about is the trading post.
Okay.
I saw this advertised, and I was like,
I think this is a great change, by the way, a great addition.
I agree.
Before Preach says anything, I think
looks
it's great.
I really like the trading post. I don't think it's like game changing or anything like that, but it's evergreen content that is just good across the board.
okay, but probably not for me as somebody who doesn't change cosmetics and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I finally got to check it out and actually see it, and this thing is genius.
Mega
like,
dub.
actual genius.
Yep,
For the
mega
people who want
dub.
to play World of
Huge.
Warcraft day to day, it's easy to say there isn't that much farming if you've done the Renown farm. And as
Yeah.
we saw with Dragonflight launch,
I did not.
people were pumping their Renown farm like
Fuck
it was Shadowlands. Like they needed it, otherwise they were missing out on something. And people like grinded it out within the first few days, like
Oh, yeah.
managing to cap it by collecting dirt, shuffling through it like Shia LaBeouf, and then managed to. Well, I've got
I
nothing to do
watched
now.
that movie.
A
in
classic
theaters.
thing, especially for the collectors who go out and do transmog
Oh,
and things
so it
like that and
turns
chasing those
yellow.
rare mounts. It wasn't. There's two things I really like about the trading post once I actually got down and looked at it. One, everything is nicely previewed. It shows you everything you can.
It's very polished. It's
Yeah.
not like Blizzard. There was like this one intern, and it was like kind of his thing that he wanted to do. And it's like, well, he was kind of like one of the executives' like cousins, and he just got out of jail. So we figured we give him a job doing something, and he just put this together. No, like this is actually like really well polished and put together. It's probably one of the most polished things Blizzard's ever put out in a while.
In a long time, yeah.
lock in things that you're not sure if you're going to pick up because you're hoping for something next month and it depends on your points. All the things that Blizzard typically doesn't do well with predicting people might have a problem with. It's like, well, you got to get it now. Like corruption was like that, right? The
Oh,
corruption
yeah.
vendors, it's like, well, if you haven't got the points, it's going to go away. Unlucky, ha ha ha.
Literal dog
And
shit
this
ass
time they've come
garbage.
around and said, no, you
Yeah.
can lock it in. Fine, totally fine. And
Yep.
it's a very obvious
put it on
sign of
layaway.
the new management that is in at World of Warcraft.
Uh-huh.
It's a very obvious sign of the kind of things like, no, let them lock it in. It's fine. Let's predict that. Some people will be right on the cusp, but they
Well,
won't
they
be able.
might not be able to get it. Like, why make it a thing? You know, why make it unpleasant? Guys, let's get a bit of all right. I was at a fucking gas station, and there were these, there were like muffins, but they were like Reese's peanut butter cup muffins,
Damn.
and they were like $5, so I bought them.
Jeez.
Because they were cheap.
Wait, that's
Literal
cheap?
Trash. I've eaten almost
Damn,
every single
that
one of
sucks.
them. Well, I keep eating.
It's trash. I ate every single one of them.
It is what it is. That's why.
To afford something next time, or they won't be able to play enough, and therefore they won't earn the points, and they might want to see what comes up next because they kind of want this thing, but they're not too excited about it. And now you can just lock it in and get it done. And a really nice preview. I, in fact, bought something. I had no intention of getting anything from the trading
is
post
really
because
cool.
I don't particularly care for cosmetics. And I just browsed through and was like, yeah, I want that. I absolutely do want that. And I was
Hell yeah.
shocked to find that. But more
I
important,
also think it's a good decision for them not to let you buy everything out. So you
Yeah.
have to make decisions. And like you can't just infinitely farm these either. Like it's capped and you can decide what you want to do every single week. It's like you
Exactly.
like the trading post is like Chuck E. Cheese. And like your parents gave you
With, like, the tick-
you know, $20 and you've got this many tokens and you get, you know, 750 tickets at the end of it.
Yep,
And you can
that's
buy either
That's what I thought he was going to go to.
a comb or a you know, like a Chinese finger trap. And you get to
Yeah.
decide.
Traveler's Log. That's the second thing that I really like about this. It's
The
just
bouncy
rewarding
ball,
people
yeah.
for investigating parts of the game that they a lot of people will do this naturally, which is
Yeah.
great. So it's
Yeah,
not
I completed my whole thing.
obnoxious
I didn't even
stuff,
know it was done.
which is what I thought it might be. I thought it was going to be like, oh, go and see the old world because nobody goes there. Go and do that.
Yeah.
Go and do this. Go and take part in our seasonal events.
But there
that
are
stuff's
some
all
of those.
there. And that's
Yeah.
good to push people to try out things, especially with a game like WoW that's so vast.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really know what's available to them. It was actually one of Dragonflight's core problems when it's released, is the community was just, we're not sure what to do. And then more stuff started to unravel as time went on. It's like, oh, you can farm these like super bosses, and these give you like these really cool items. Now, part of that was a good discovery by the community, But it also led to a lot of nerfs, a lot of changes, because people are like, oh no, we didn't even
That's all my fault.
test the stuff in the alpha
Yeah.
and the beta, and now people are just hard farming everything and just going like MMO players.
They like nerfed it mid-farm on Asmon's stream, right? If I remember right.
It's like ants across the whole hill. So we do have that stuff, but they've also thrown in a lot of stuff that is day-to-day stuff. I was really surprised. They tend to, like, or in the past, Blizzard has been very focused on rewarding you very specifically.
Yeah, only
if you
for doing
do
the current
this,
content.
this is
Yeah.
the reward and not much
Yeah.
else. And it's been a bit of a problem for a while. It's like you will do, if you're doing Mythic Plus, you will get the vault and some Valor points because that's very specific to that area. If you go over here, you'll get rewarded for just that thing. So ever since BFA, actually, BFA is when they took it out. Legion rewarded you for everything.
Why would you have a shirt of Bolvar? I mean, that's like having a shirt with Luigi on it. He's not as good as Mario. Mario's better.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
no reason.
With artifact power, like you would always gain artifact power regardless of what you did, and it was nice. And then in BFA they took that away. It's like, oh no, if you want Azerite power, well, you must take part in this piece of content. You must do Island Expeditions. You must do this. And they started segmenting it out. So like, if you fully enjoyed one path, you were only going to get rewarded for that one path. And if you didn't enjoy another path, tough shit, you had to go along that path because it was the only way of obtaining
Too
X
bad,
currency or
bitch.
whatever. Now they've done it. It's like, yeah, it's dungeons, PvP. It's whatever you do. It's doing world quests. You'll still passively generate rewards in case, if you're not fully invested in like completing your travel log, that's fine. Your natural gameplay will reward you anyway for giving you for stuff that you're naturally doing. So you're always.
Yeah, I think they can even do more with it though. I'll be honest. Like I've stopped playing WoW just because I felt like I was because I actually really like the PvP now, but I felt like I was forced to do the solo queue. And the problem with the solo queue is if you're queuing as DPS, it's a stupid amount of time. It's like sometimes 20 plus minutes, and it just feels like you're wasting your time because sometimes you'll join and then someone will leave. Even though they made it now where you get punished, that doesn't stop people from leaving. So yeah, I really think they could do more with it, and I hope they do.
Always going to be building up currency regardless.
Yeah, so you don't have to do things that you don't want to do. I think that's the main thing that like WoW has had a problem with for so long.
And exactly what I was just saying, and the reason why I just stopped playing was because I felt like they're forcing me to play solo queue in arena, and I was like, I don't like arena, like I never have. I actually really like the BGs, and I wish the BGs would reward more. Like the whole rated BG, I think that should be solo queuable.
Is it their focus was always on making you do something you didn't want to do?
Yeah,
Those two things
Very
were really
true.
cool. Utterly shocked that.
because yes, now you have more options, which is great. I just wish they had even more within those options, if that makes sense.
It was a bit of a bum that it was bugged for the first few days, and people were like, "Oh,
Like, I feel like crafting is kind of shit for getting gear now. Like, at first it was okay when you first hit the max level, like, in the beginning. But they made it really annoying to make high-end gear. I really wish they wouldn't have. Because it's like, yes, there's going to be people who pay for it and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, people pay for runs and Mythic and raids. So, what does it matter?
this is well shit." I mean, it's fine working now, and I'm glad I got to try it out. This is a great piece of kit. In terms of my targets, then for World of Warcraft, I am kind of done with what I personally want in terms of Project MMO. Project MMO is what we're doing over the next month or so, which is to clear every raid boss in multiple MMOs to see how they're all
It's lit.
diverged and
Oh, that's
split
cool.
off to find their own successful path.
That's a
That's going to
cool
be Final
idea.
Fantasy 14,
Yeah.
where we're currently focused on Savage raiding. We're doing Guild Wars 2, where we're going to be doing the raids and the strikes in that game. We've done one strike in that game, and it was phenomenal. And we're going to be doing Destiny 2 with their new expansion coming out, where they took the base MMO formula and
Oh,
spread
wow.
around.
One day
But
I'll
in terms
play
of World of
Destiny
Warcraft,
2.
unsurprisingly, I kind of hit my goals extremely quickly.
I didn't like where Destiny 2 was kind of going. It's not that really. It's just I don't really like doing raids and stuff in Destiny 2. And in fair, I didn't really do it in WoW, like in a while either. So I really wish though Destiny 2 had it where if you got geared enough, you can go and like solo those things. Like I think Destiny 1, you could do that. Like with like Crota. Like you can have the max level gear and just go and do Crota and just instant kill it. Not instant kill it, but like, you know what I mean, solo it. I really wish they made every boss soloable from the previous expansion. Like WoW kind of does that, but usually it's like 2 to 3 expansions. I really wish it was just once the new expansion comes out and you hit max level and get pretty decent gear, you should be able to solo every expansion previous to that with the raids. Because that just, I don't know, I don't see a reason why not. The gear you get from that raid is not going to make any difference. So
shouldn't be any shock there.
Yeah,
because
the game
obviously I had
years.
established friends and family within World of Warcraft, regardless of where I come back. I mean, there's such a long history in this game that finding a team that progressed through the raid was not a difficulty. I'm not going to be going for Mythic Razageth. Not particularly interested in that. And we cleared Heroic. It was fine. Yeah. That's a lie. Okay, let's be honest. I like the Heroic raid. I think it was really fun. Group of friends. Enjoyed it, blasted it. Didn't take too long, like a couple of hours for us. Except Razageth. I really did not like Razageth at all.
It's too fucking hard.
Yeah. I haven't done it, but everything I've seen on it makes me not want to do it.
Like, that's all there is to it. It's too fucking hard. And it doesn't give you really good rewards. Like, you just get 411 gear. Is it easier to do Razageth or do Mythic 15s? I would say easily it's much easier to do Mythic 15s. So why would anybody go and do Razageth? Get good?
Yeah.
No, the problem isn't me getting good, it's everybody else in the group getting good. It's like this is the Mage Tower. Yeah, I can learn not to stand in the beam, but did Vinray learn how to not stand in the beam? No, we fucking didn't. And now we have to res him. And I'm mad.
I'm fine with gear overall making progress easier, and I've done several videos over the years about how you should be, after you kill a boss, your gear increase should make that boss easier the following week.
Yep.
Your most difficult kill should be the first one, right? That's a pretty...
At the end of the raid tier, you should just be able to go in there, slap your dick around, and then the raid's over. That's it.
Cool place to be coming from. Because
you earned it.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Razageth, at least what my team found is that
this boss is so fucking easy. I don't know why people can't do this. It's so fucking easy. But compared to all the other bosses, it's way harder, right? It's hard and it's easy. It's easy if you have your monitor on, but nobody has their monitor on. So it's extremely hard. But like with Diathia or with like Kurog, it doesn't really matter.
It was essentially just a gear check. And the fight is either almost impossible at certain points. Like, because we got there very, very early with our group setup, and it was very small, and scaling's always a thing. But we're playing with, like, very, very good players who were all mythic clearing players. And we were like, we just kind of just missed the DPS here, even with everybody sort of min-maxing and pushing and doing whatever.
There it is.
On our first week of getting there. And then the next week, the boss just fell over on, like, the first pull. It was very disappointing. Because there's so many just DPS check marks in that. It's like you hit certain things in phase 1.
Well, it's that, it's the absorb shield, right? I mean, I feel like the absorb shield is the hard part in phase 3.
That almost sounds like a Lost Ark boss.
A ton of extra damage. You can survive, but like you're getting the hint then. Your damage isn't quite there. And then the platforms, if you're behind on damage, you simply do not clear the platforms in time to get into phase 2. And then if you scrape through by blowing more cooldowns in phase 2 to get to phase in the intermission to get to phase 2, then you've got the storm shields.
Yeah.
And even with like optimizing there, it was just and then it took like 5 or 6 item levels on everybody from another week of Mythic Plus and things like that, and then the boss just died.
Yeah, and it's like also like with Razageth, if every other fight is way easier, then people just simply are not going to do Razageth.
Yep.
Why would they go out of their way to do Razageth if it's way harder and it gives worse rewards?
At the very least, you'd get people to do it for the achievements, but that's probably as far as it gets.
Nobody's going to do it. That's what happened with the Jailer. It's bad design. Make the fight easier, or make it drop way better gear.
I was a little disappointed in Razageth. Visually, very nice. Mechanically, really liked it, actually. I really thought it was fun.
And like, this actually really goes to show. I remember Method, at the time, best guild in the world, okay? They got world first Jihoon in Old Deer, back in BFA. They killed Gahoon like 2 or 3 times, and then they stopped raiding. because it wasn't worth the effort. We're not going to put in all this effort to kill this shitty fucking boss just to get more, what was it, 385 gear?
Yeah.
I liked what I did. I was tanking, and I love tanking. So only Razageth was a bit of a disappointment. I actually didn't mind Broodmother as much as I thought I would. My favorite boss is the Wind boss, though. I really enjoyed that, especially as a prop warrior having disrupted.
Wrong opinion. Wrong opinion, by the way. Massively wrong opinion. I've never heard an opinion this wrong before in my life. However, what he's about to say is very true. Let's let him say it.
I would. My favorite boss is the Wind boss, though. I really enjoyed that, especially as a prop warrior having disrupting shout. I could gather all the ads really nicely. I could bypass mechanics and stuff like that. It was really...
A prop warrior can solo tank the boss because the boss's debuff only stacks up to 5, and you'll have charge or heroic leap up for every single one if you're talented into double time.
Okay.
Very much enjoyed that. Well, in terms of my personal goals, in terms of Project MMO...
The reason why I don't like this fight, by the way, is entirely the color scheme. I hate how you have these, like, circles here that have the same animation border as the effects on the ground. I think this is horrible design, and I don't think there's any reason that it should exist. I understand for immersion's purposes, but I think that gameplay and game design, like, that is the pinnacle above everything else.
Well, I will say, we've not stopped playing World of Warcraft,
that's why I don't like
somebody's going to come out and say,
mechanics are totally fine.
No, but in terms of our personal goals, we're kind of done there. That's great. We've achieved what we wanted to achieve, and I'm more than happy to go hard again next season, because I'm not unhappy with Dragonflight. I'll be logging in on a regular basis, do some M+, get my vaults, just steadily work up that way. But in terms of my personal day-to-day goals, I'm good. I'm really good, and I think that is a positive thing.
Yes.
It's exactly what I hoped Blizzard would leave, the taste it would leave in my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why a lot of people are, even if people aren't playing Dragonflight, they feel better about the game because they were able to stop playing the game and not feel like they were, you know, they were losing out on valuable 0.27% DPS increases.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, I stopped playing, and I plan to come back. Like, absolutely. It's not like I stopped playing because I hated the game or was frustrated with things. I mean, I kind of wish they did the BG thing, but even then, like, I can still do BGs and earn conquest points. But it's more just the amount just feels really shitty compared to what you earn with the arena. That was my only gripe with it, but I still had a ton of fun. I just stopped playing for now because I'm waiting for the next, like you said, like the next season in a sense. Because I actually plan to raid next season, if possible.
Is that I'm really happy. I have no bad feelings. I've done what I want.
I wonder if anyone's like similar to his Project MMO, like if anyone's ever done a video on how hard is it to find a raiding group in each MMO. You know what I mean? Because I do want to still do that video with Classic WoW, with seasons, like what seasons I think would be interesting. But I think another video would be interesting to do would be to see how difficult is it to find a raiding guild, or, you know, a guild that raids in each of these MMOs, like Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars. And I don't know if frickin' Destiny 2 would be a good one, but why not? You know what I mean?
To do, and now I could just sort of maintain. I can spin the wheels for the next season of content.
Yeah,
and that's cool. And the new season of content looks really good. It looks so fun. We know there's new raids coming. There's revamps coming to classes, and that might give me the opportunity to level those classes and have a play with them because they're changing Paladin, they're changing Druid. All those kind of things are really exciting for me. And
I heard they're buffing Retribution. I actually like Retribution, so hopefully that's going to happen.
Where I stand right now.
The Rep Paladin changes look really, really, really good, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
Now, I know some people are going to go, oh, so you quit. No, not at all. It's just in terms of our YouTube content,
it's a break.
Personal focus goals. World of Warcraft is one of the easiest for me to complete because we already had access to all these resources while we were there.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm really happy with Dragonflight. Like, super happy with Dragonflight. There's nothing. The only bad thing. Let's break it down. The only thing I do not like right now is the sheer amount of Mythic Plus needed to get, like, upgrades.
10 Mythic plus 16s in order to get one 418 item. I think 5 would be better. I don't think 10 is awful. I really don't. I don't think it's awful because it's a guarantee at 16 and above. But yeah, like, I mean, I don't, it's bad on alts. That's very true. And having to do this on multiple characters is very problematic.
Yeah, I think that's another issue with Arena as well as Mythics. But yeah, no, I didn't know it was 10. That is a bit much. I think 3 to 5 would be fair. 3, I think, is actually ideal.
I think that, again, like, having to do arbitrary farms on multiple characters should be minimized as much as possible. I have a very unpopular hot take that I would not mind if all gear was tradable per account.
Oh yeah, buying on account. Like, I think that's completely fair.
Instead of,
because you earned it. You know what I mean? It's not like you bought it from another person. You know what I mean? You actually earned that gear.
gear being soulbound, it was account bound. Gear being account bound in Diablo 3 allowed me to go and maybe play like a crusader instead of a barbarian. It allowed me to play a witch doctor instead of a wizard, and I enjoyed the game more because of that.
Absolutely.
I would enjoy, like, ultimately, I only look at it from this perspective. Would this make me play the game more and enjoy it more?
Yeah, because Final Fantasy XIV does it like that. Because your character is your only character, in a sense. Like, any gear you get is count bound because you have one character. But I do think, like, if you wanted to make new characters, you should be able to transfer to them as well. I don't know if you can, because I only made one character in Final Fantasy, but I think the logic of it, you know what I mean? Like, you could just swap between classes and just use any gear you picked up with them.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, but people will be able to raid on 3. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no.
I don't care.
Like, people who want to get, like, some weird clout playing their games, it's like, dude, like you said, gameplay and game mechanics should trump everything. So anything that makes the game better overall should trump people who care about achievements. That's just how it is. Because it's like, and the argument is just dumb against it, because the simple argument is, how did you get that gear? You earned it. You beat a boss, you did a raid, whatever, you did PvP, you earned the tokens or whatever it is. So you earned that gear. So giving it to your other characters, it's your gear.
I would like
just
that more.
Makes sense.
I'd be able to play the game more. I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. Completely
agree. It's a
agree.
little too much. And if you miss a week because you're...
It's like the transmog system. You know what I mean? Like, when you unlock a plate armor, when you're on the warrior, say, like, you unlock it for your paladin. You unlock it for your DK, Death Knight. So it's like, how annoying would that be is if you unlocked it on your warrior, you only unlocked it with that warrior for transmog. You know what I mean?
You're focused on something else and you don't have time to do like 10 mythic pluses in a week or whatever, and another spark comes out. It's like another 10 to get an upgrade. And the only other alternative I know of is to go mythic raiding. And that will give you both. Now, I get it. It's very high level gear. It still just feels like too much.
It's a waste of
time. And it feels a little overwhelming. And that's the real thing that I'm not happy with, is because I really like the crafting system. I have made friends. I've negotiated prices. It feels like a community. And I know there's cartels and stuff going on, and we might be doing a little project on that, the cartels. Our team is kind of looking into the cartel thing that's going on. To be done, is because we're certainly not stopping any WoW YouTube content for now. And looking into that. But personally, I've not run into that issue. I've whispered people, I've had a little conversation with them, and back and forth, we've negotiated a reasonable price. I've turned people down because they're too expensive. I'm like, that's too much, too rich for my blood. Got really good friends with rerolls, and then both...
It's hard for me really to say, like, kind of what my experience is with crafting, because it's so much contextualized around being a streamer. But the system seems like most people that I trust their opinion, people like Preach, and Preach is also a streamer, so his experience is going to be a little bit different. But yeah, I bet you have mad benefits, bro. I tell you something, this is good.
Like high-fiving once we nailed it and got the right piece of gear. All that stuff has been great. A lot of people really cool. It's just getting the resource. Again, it's one of those things that feels like 10 is a lot. right? You're looking at
Yeah.
20 to 30 minutes a run. That's a lot of time commitment, but I understand. Plus, I will say this. I understand it's supposed to be a long-term progression path.
Yeah.
But you have these sparks coming in just sat there, and you're like, I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to have that. Kind of want to make
I'm in that position right now, but the truth is I'm not really farming. Like, I'm not farming that hard. I'm not trying that hard. I think that what would make it a lot better is if you had a more casual option. So, like, for example, but let's see. Can we do a triangle here? Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll do one like this, right? And so it would be really nice if, like, right now, because like we have primal, and this is concentrated. I was about to. Okay. Concentrated primal. Okay, right. It would be nice if we had another one that we could put into primals. So it's like you could do like, yeah, we're not acronyming that one. But anyway, you could do like 10 of those. You could get them to like world quests or something like that.
Because I was updating my launchers because I was looking at, like I was saying, I was thinking about doing the whole rating in each MMO. So I was bringing up my Final Fantasy, and I realized it didn't have me logged in. So I'm like, oh shoot. Okay, let me bring that up. Anyways, I didn't mean to get out of his video. Yeah, give me a sec. Let me go back. I actually wasn't really paying attention as well.
Like you could.
Here.
We'll do one like this, right? And so it would be really nice if, like, right now, because like we have primal.
Is he talking
and
about?
This
No,
is
that's the map, right?
concentrated. I was about to. Okay. Concentrated primal. Okay, right. It would be nice if we had another one that we could put into primals. So it's like you could do like, yeah, we're not acronyming that one. But anyway, like you could do like 10 of those. You could get them to like world quests or something like that. And that would build up into a primal infusion, and then you could put 10 primal infusions together to make concentrate primal infusion.
Oh, I see what he's saying.
You know, pyramid.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty cool.
So like you could at least progress a little bit without having to do the high-end content. Because
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal, by the way. I really don't think it's a big deal that like
I also don't like that you can't get primals through PvP, or at least I don't think you can.
a casual player gets a 418 piece of gear. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Because, like, I'm fully stacked with 421s. And if I want a mythic raid, I'll have 424s. Who gives a fuck? They get one good piece of gear. In Classic WoW, because you're casual, yeah, well, most people are casual, so they should do what I want. So anyway, like in Classic WoW, if you're a casual player, you get Lionheart Helm. You get, if you raid Molten Core, you get the fucking Onslaught Girdle. You can have Thunder Fury. You don't have to raid Nax, and you'll still have a few pieces of gear that are really, really good. Best in slot, even.
It works. So I think that's, and it's not even a bitter taste. It's just, it feels a little too much. It feels a little daunting. And I a pressure on myself is guess what I would say is I feel a pressure on myself to be like, oh, I think at this point, I need to do like 25 Mythic Pluses.
I think it also kind of feels shitty because people probably are assuming that, like, next patch, we're just going to have to do, like, 10 more, you know?
Pretty much,
to get a couple of upgrades. I'm like, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. And if I really want those upgrades without having to, get into an organized Mythic Raid situation, that's kind of a bummer. Especially as it's not actually up to Mythic Raid quality. It's close. It's good, but it's not quite
It's not that good.
I was like, nah. I'll do it slow and steady. That's my plan. I'll lead it up. I'll take the approach that I advise for you guys is we'll do it over the course of leading to the next season.
Right.
To get ourselves ready. But more than happy with Dragonfly. I've had a really good time. I have. I'm not chilling on WoW because I'm unhappy. And that's a really cool place to be.
Isn't that crazy?
All right. Well, thank you very much for listening. See you again.
When was the last time Preach made a World of Warcraft video where he smiled?
This thing is fucking genius. You don't want me to swear, do you? I know what you're thinking. It's like, swore in the first start.
Isn't that crazy? Like, he's actually smiling in a World of Warcraft video? That's nuts. Can't believe it. Yeah, centuries ago. Yeah. Back in the Dark Ages. Holy fuck, man. Dragonflight is smiling. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I feel like most people have been very happy about Dragonflight. Or at least most of the people I've talked to. I could be wrong about it, but overall, I think it's great. I'm happy. I totally agree with everything he's saying. It would be nice if they could... I just, like, this is the way I feel. Is I think that farming out 20 plus 16 dungeons to get your gear the first time is totally acceptable. Totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. However, doing it twice sucks. It's the same thing I've said with a lot of things. Farming something once is fine. Farming it twice is bad. That's it. I did 56 times. Yeah, that's a bad time. That's it, man. Reps should be account-wide. Yes, I think almost every single thing should be account-wide. First, it's a Tataru video. Oh, my. I don't know what that is. Yeah, farming it twice is shit. Exactly. So that's what needs to be fixed. Feels great knowing I can feel done without feeling like I'm behind. I still feel a little bit behind right now. I've been on that too much Mythic Plus since Shadowlands Vault was previewed, even after they reduced it. Well, the thing is, like, it's just not proportional. Doing a plus 20 is way easier than doing the Mythic Raid. It just is. So why would somebody go and want to do a Mythic Raid? It's like, for whatever point that you're at, unless you are clearing Mythic Razageth, for whatever point that you're at, the odds are that the effort required to get the equivalent reward in Mythic Plus is easier.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
That's it. That's what I think it is. Also, I mean, there's 100 of them. Completely useless. Can't send them to my alts. Yeah, you should be able to send them to your alts. Why not be able to send them to your alts? So recently you've been for mega servers. I remember asking about an Allcraft a while ago. So what made you change your opinion? I've been for mega servers. And when did I say that I didn't want mega servers?
He's always said he liked them.
Everybody should be on the same server. There is no value and no improvement to a player's experience.
I was gonna say, Yasmin's always been pro mega server.
Like
one server
is other groups of people is creating. Yeah. So one guy. Well, yeah, it was one guy in chat asked a question and I responded to it. That's the way it works. Like I take questions from chat and then I read them and I respond to them. Yeah, that. Most questions are one guy. Yeah. Anyway, what about GTA Online having bad player lobbies? I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there's definitely little ways they could improve it. But yeah, Dragonflight is good. I played it pretty good amount. I probably played Shadowlands more and I enjoyed it less. So you can take that for what it is.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a fair video. Good, definitely a good video. That it is a really refreshing feeling that you can just take a break from WoW and actually have a roadmap on, like, if you want to come back, like, you know what's going to be happening. So, yeah, no, I mean, I think WoW's is probably as good as it's been in a long time. And I do wish they would do more. I just like the direction they're going, and as long as they keep pushing to that direction, I'm really positive of where Warcraft's going to be in the next few years. So you can only hopium, but so far it's been good. So I think it's fine. It's not copium, at least. So, all right, last video, YouTube CEO steps down with Penguin Zero, which of course is Charlie, voice critical. So let's take a look.
I know I look awfully disheveled right now, which is extremely unprofessional, and that's uncharacteristic of me, so I do apologize for the lack of professionalism. I look like a time-traveling caveman who just got out of the machine and is curious on what year it is. But there's a good reason for it, I'll briefly explain. I play pickup basketball every Thursday night. I'm getting absolutely filthy. I wouldn't be surprised if I got recruited into the NBA over the next couple years, but that's besides the point. After the pickup basketball game this evening, I hopped on Twitter for the first time today and noticed something huge. Susan has stepped down as CEO of YouTube. This news kind of came out of nowhere.
Okay.
I haven't been this surprised since I was a child and learned that chocolate milk didn't come from brown cows. Susan has been the CEO of YouTube for the last 9 years, but she's been at Google for 25, and now she's hanging up her dancing shoes and stepping away from the company. However, she is still taking on an advisory role to Google and Alphabet, as I understand it. She did post a statement going into detail, just kind of like a swan song on the way out, going over the years and the progress that the platform has made. Really, the whole post feels almost like a YouTube rewind, you know, at least the closest thing we've had over the last couple of years since they canned that whole thing. It's just a look at YouTube and what's happened since she's taken the helm. And her future plans aren't revealed at the moment. We don't know. It could be anything. You know, maybe she fucking announces an NFT project. You know, anything's possible. But there is one thing we do know.
That would
YouTube
suck.
is going to have a new CEO. And most people are pretty pessimistic about it for good reason. Now, I know a lot of people have criticized Susan, and rightfully so. There's plenty of things that you can point out as being suboptimal, and a lot of things that didn't ever get fixed that needed fixing, and changes that should have come but still haven't come. There's plenty of things that you can critique. But I have always maintained that at least Susan knew what was going on the platform. She'd talk to creators, even though it pretty much fell on deaf ears. Anytime a creator gave her advice, YouTube would kind of wipe their ass with it, it felt like. She at least talked to them. She'd sit down and talk to some creators. She would post about YouTube frequently on Twitter. She seemed proud of the platform and would actively talk about YouTube, which is more than you could say about a lot of tech CEOs in the business. And the example I always use is Twitch, with our beloved Emmett Shear. I'm convinced this guy doesn't even know he's the CEO of Twitch. He seems genuinely embarrassed to even be associated with it. When you go to his Twitter bio, it's the last thing there, and he kind of downplays his involvement by just saying he's working on Twitch. The guy is literally the CEO of the platform, but I don't think you could find a single tweet he's made about Twitch. And he's never really made any appearances on Twitch. He doesn't talk about it or anything at all. I've only ever actually seen him one time to confirm he's a human being, and it was on a stream where he seemed kind of out of it, like he was either drunk or on Xanax, and he just didn't have any clue what he was talking about when he was mentioning the platform. I'd place a wager that Emmett couldn't name a single streamer on Twitch right now. So at least Susan seemed to know what was going on the platform and actively engaged with it, even though she didn't really fix a lot of shit, and even though there was a lot of mismanagement, like at the very highest level, at the very least, she talked about the platform. She did identify problems, though falling short on fixing a lot of them. And they did roll out good features under her belt, while also rolling out some stinkers. So it wasn't like the perfect reign, but it wasn't the worst either. There's always been plenty of room for the platform to get shittier, and hopefully that won't be the case with the new CEO. I'd like to believe that it'll only improve, but time will tell. I'm going to try and remain optimistic on the future.
It's the most you can do, yeah.
Though I do want to mention something in regards to the timing of Susan stepping down. I don't know how many of you know about this currently, but there is an extremely important legal battle going on right now called Gonzalez versus Google. And the outcome of this litigation could completely change not only the entire landscape of YouTube, but the internet as a whole. Legal Eagle actually just posted a video going over this case in detail, and I can't recommend the video enough so you get a sense for exactly what's going on and the severity of it. I'm going to break it down into its most basic form. YouTube had a problem where it was recommending ISIS videos, extremist content, to users. And what ended up happening is it radicalized some users and it led to a legitimate terror attack. And this put this whole problem on display and has led to this lawsuit, which is now getting into very, very dangerous territory with something called Section 230. That's as far as I'm going to go in the breakdown, but Section 230 is instrumental in the internet landscape. Without it, the internet doesn't function as it currently does. It gets a lot worse in many, many, many different ways. Check out Legal Eagle's video on the case. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is because this has YouTube in its crosshairs. Google entirely, but the problem stemmed from YouTube. And now Susan steps down during this extremely crucial period, that's setting off alarm bells for me. Now, I know Susan's not going to court with, like, you know, a sword and a shield ready to do battle for YouTube. She's not a fucking lawyer, right? I know she's not the one actually tackling them in the court of justice for the fucking WWE SmackDown Gonzalez versus Google, but she is the public-facing company. She is very high up in the company, obviously. She is a senior leadership position. So during a moment like this kind of huge deal, I would expect her to want to be there to fight for it, to be there and lend her 25 years of experience and expertise in the field to help navigate these waters and to try and make things smooth and get the best outcome here. So her stepping down during this is a little weird to me, and maybe it's because I'm a little naive on the exact structure of YouTube as well as how Google compartmentalizes it. Like, maybe she really would be completely worthless in this case and would offer no valuable insight, but I just find that hard to believe since the problem stemmed from her neck of the woods, YouTube, which she's the CEO of. I feel like she would have the deepest insight and understanding in order to help with the case, but maybe that's not how it works. I just still find the timing to be a little concerning given the severity of the Gonzalez versus Google case. But anyway, back to talking about the future of the platform. We are going to see a new CEO enter into the Thunderdome here, and I'm very curious to see exactly how they're going to perform. I'm hoping it'll be great, but you know, it remains to be seen. They've got a lot of work to do. Are we going to see really sweeping improvements? Like, are things going to be getting fixed? Is the new CEO going to be focusing on fixing broken things like the manual review, the algorithm for flagging content, shit like that? Or are they going to be focusing on improving features that are still kind of busted? Maybe are they going to focus on implementing new features that are good, that I don't even have any conception of, like any possible fucking idea on? I will say the beauty of someone new stepping in as a CEO right now is there is an easy layup they can make that would instantly earn the trust of the entire community. Just an absolute fucking free breadbasket. Bringing back dislikes. It's that simple. You can still see dislikes through an extension, so just turn them back on publicly. That would instantly be an incredible change that would set the entire tone of the new CEO's reign as, you know, the top dog here. It would showcase to the community that the CEO can recognize issues, can see community feedback, and actually take it into account when going forward. Bringing back dislikes is the #1 thing this new CEO can do instantly to get off on the right foot and have a very strong start. Are they just going to make changes, or are we going to see them double down on some horrible ideas, like when they floated the idea of doing fucking NFTs on YouTube? Or how about that timeless classic when they required you to have a Google Plus account in order to comment on the platform, which was an absolute burning bag of dog shit of an idea? Like, are we going to see more ideas like that are just overwhelmingly horrible and terrible? But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. Like, there's no way of knowing right now. Like, everything's speculation. Hopefully, whoever, you know, steps up for this is going to... I'm not going to say, like, be content focused. I think they should, though, because that is what built YouTube to begin with. And its main thing is the content creators on there. So, I don't know. Like, where they're going to go with it, hopefully, and like he said, like, we're just gonna have to wait and see.
We'll just have to wait and see how the new CEO performs. Hopefully it's great, big wet sloppy kisses all around, the platform improves entirely. That'd be ideal. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to talk about it. That's about it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. As someone who uses YouTube all the time, occasionally stream, but like as a viewer, like, I think they could still do a lot of things to make the website better, and hopefully they do, because it is one of my favorite websites to pass the time with. So gonna give that a like. Already subscribed. I didn't comment too much on this because I think it's just speculation at this point. There's nothing anyone can say. The previous CEO, just like he said, was not the best, not the worst. Did good things here and there, also did bad things. Not exactly bad, but like, I think poor decisions, like removing the dislike button, just stupid. But yeah, well, we can all agree that it's a wait and see at this point, and just keep our fingers crossed that it goes in a positive direction, because that would really suck to see YouTube, go down the drain due to poor leadership. So, all right, that's it for today. I was gonna stream playing a few bit of gaming, but honestly, kind of tired. I took a nap, and I haven't woken up since that nap. I don't know if I could kind of get that across while I was watching this. I was like dazed and going off on my own world, not even really paying attention. Hopefully I didn't go too far with it, but yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, I guess. All right, see ya. Take care.